A planet was barreling at Blue Star, so the system dropped us onto 10 square meter floating islands to become lords. Everyone else woke on bare dirt. I woke at the bottom of my own well, my dog Rang Rang and a tank of fish crammed in beside me. Then the system named me Seo Hyuk and told me to become a god. My well became unlimited water, and my card master profession turned every enemy I beat into a soldier card. In army I marched island to island. The fool who fell down a hole had the one start no one could copy. Real quick, like the video and subscribe. It costs nothing in the algorithm, thanks you. How did someone like me get this far? It started with a single moment. A planet is barreling straight at Blue Star, too big for humanity to destroy or knock off course, and the news has screamed about the end of the world so long it is just an undeniable fact now. Knowing the end is coming does not make a normal person end it himself though, because there are 100 ways to die, and as long as your heart is beating, you will never pick starvation. My ground cages come up packed solid, the best haul I have ever pulled, and I feel nothing about it. The fish and shrimp that used to test every shadow have stopped being careful, crowding toward any scrap of food, and when I lift them out, they only flick their tails a couple of times, like they are filing one last note with fate that says I tried. Then they go still. Even the fish know death is coming, so they have decided to lie down and wait for it. I say to nobody, but my hands keep working. I cover the full bucket with a breathable lid, and since the cages still hold more than it can take, I carry the bucket in one hand and drag the cages home in the other, no longer caring if they tear, calling Rang Rang to come home and wondering out loud whether I will ever get the chance to set these cages again. Rang Rang is a stray I picked up 2 years back, smarter than a dog has a right to be, and I named him the day I took him in. The load is brutal, and I walk a solid 20 minutes before I make it back. My arm's gone soft. I haul the catch to the water well, pour the bucket into the big plastic tank beside it, set the rest on the ground to fry tonight, then change into my slippers on the well platform, peel off my filthy jacket and toss it onto the laundry pile I never washed, and head inside to rest. That is when a gate to the divine realm tears open in the sky out of nothing, and every human on Blue Star lifts their head toward it in the same instant, even people sealed in lightless basements, like some hand turned all our faces at once. A few seconds later, a flat electronic voice rings inside every skull on the planet and tells us the apocalypse has arrived, giving us 10 minutes to choose yes or no, to agree to go to a new world and try to survive there. Survive. Just that word tells me wherever they are sending us is not built for peace. It pretends to be a choice, but anyone who wants to keep living has to say yes, so I agree the second the voice finishes, blurting it 3 times over, because no matter how brutal that place is, it beats lying here while a planet erases this one. Blue Star is finished, and faced with a thing that flips everything I thought I knew. What else is there to do but believe it? The voice comes back the instant I choose, telling me I have 10 minutes to put any creatures willing to follow me and whatever I collect inside a 10 square meter circle centered on me. That those creatures will be my companions and those supplies my one guarantee of survival. And the clock already reads 9 minutes and 22 seconds. Only 10 minutes and not a second of warning before now. Complaining gets me nowhere, so I shut my mouth and start hauling, because survival means food and water first. But when I dig through the kitchen and turn up half a bag of rice, I freeze, because that is when it hits me that I have almost nothing left to eat. My stomach drops, and Rang Rang trots over, pressing against my legs, trying to comfort me the only way a dog knows how, like he has forgotten how jittery he has been these last weeks. Animals feel the wrongness before we do, and they say livestock has been going mad all over, the ones that could break loose running, and the ones that could not turning vicious in their pens. But Rang Rang stayed obedient and never left me. I lost my parents before I was old enough to remember them, and my grandfather raised me alone. Not long ago I sold our grain and went into town for his medicine and some spring seeds, but his brain gave out while I was gone, and by the time Rang Rang and I made it back, I never got to see his face one last time. Then came the planet, and the news that it would wipe Blue Star down to bare rock. Not even a trace of us left, so the experts went on television and told everyone to stop fighting it and enjoy the days we had left. Why would anyone hoard food after that? And that is exactly the trap, because right when humanity was teetering on the edge of giving up, before everything got ugly, the new world showed up instead. This is the first time in my whole life I trusted the experts, and they screwed me into the ground. So I almost cry in my kitchen, because at the one moment it mattered I have no food saved. I had a pen full of chickens and ducks once, but one man and one dog who fully intended to lie down and die ate their way through nearly the whole flock, leaving one hen and one rooster, the hen still tied up inside. The plan tonight was 2 real dishes, braised fish and shrimp and chicken stewed with mushrooms, and I was being sneaky because my rooster is a monster. Even Rang Rang gives him a wide berth, and that little hen is his one weakness, the thing he guards with his life. So he goes for anything that comes near her. I only stole his wife out from under him because he is a touch slower in the head than I am, which is also why I am not bringing him along. I would never admit I am scared to grab a rooster barehanded, Afraid of a violent bird, I raised myself. I cannot stop now, because even a hammer might be a life-saving treasure over there. I live in the countryside, which should have stacked the deck in my favor. A whole hand of good cards, except when my turn came I played the four-of-a-kind bomb as a single, with a throwaway attached. Regret is useless, so if I have no food, then I am not leaving behind the pots, the bowls, the ladles, the soy sauce, the vinegar, the tea, the axe, the pickaxe, the big shovel. Every survival artifact I own, plus clothes and blankets. How did I forget the water and my fresh-caught fish? I almost left something that important behind. I pile everything in a heap and quit caring how it lands, the clock in my head reading 3 minutes and 23 seconds. I cannot draw much from the well in the time I have, so the big plastic tank becomes my best move, because it already holds plenty of water and the river fish I just dumped in. 2 birds with 1 stone. The tank is far too heavy to drag once full, so the only play is to move the supplies to it instead. There is no time to think, so I grab the rice sack in one hand and the iron pot in the other, and start running, shouting at Rang Rang to help me haul the rest to the well, and he understands me, clamps the strap of my backpack in his teeth, and drags it alongside as he runs. My poor fish trap, dragged the whole way home and abused the entire trip, finally splits open, and a pale green catfish squirms out, fights its way across the dirt to the lip of the well, and decides it is too tired to go any farther. Years of use have grown a fine green moss in the cracks of the blue bricks around the well's edge, the same pale green as that fish. 4 legs beat 2, so Rang Rang is already waiting at the well when I am halfway there. I tell him to run another trip and he bolts in his back before I even reach the well, and just as I go to set my things down beside the tank, my foot skids out from under me. My left calf cracks against the stone rim, the supplies fly from my hands, my weight pitches backward, and the bottom drops out of everything as I plunge into the well. The shaft runs 5 meters deep, narrow at the mouth and wide at the floor, the water up to my neck, so I am in no danger of drowning, but I take a few good knocks on the way down, and the pain is nothing next to the panic in my chest. By the time I shake off the daze, the countdown still reads 1 minute and 36 seconds, and with that little time in this state there is no climbing out, no idea how I am supposed to survive a new world from the bottom of a hole. Rang Rang's barking cuts through my spiraling thoughts, and he looks down at me with that impatient face, and somehow it makes me smile, because at least I am not alone. So I lost my supplies. So what? Worst case, I scraped together more on the other side. And the handful of things I grabbed would never have lasted long anyway. Survival and exploration are surely the whole point of life over there. And bringing Rang Rang is enough. So my head clears. I shout up at him to grab a few more things and then jump in after me, that we are about to go live in another world where delicious food is waiting, and he yanks his head back and turns to run, and there is no way he understood all of it, but delicious food he understands perfectly. The single most delicious thing on Rang Rang's menu is the chicken I used to stew. The hen, wings and legs bound, has no fight left and waits in the kitchen for the end, and Rang Rang could not care less what she thinks. He bites her neck and drags her toward the well, but the moment he clears the doorway the rooster spots him, sees his beloved hen clamped in the jaws of that infuriating dog, and loses his mind. A full opera of chicken-chasing dog breaks out across the yard, and even after Rang Rang flings himself into the well, the rooster, who is mortally afraid of water, charges in after him without hesitation. All for love. By the time the circus finishes, the countdown hits 0, and my mind is sharp and clear. But no matter what I try, I cannot open my eyes, and my arms and legs will not move. Like the whole thing is a dream I am trapped inside. The voice welcomes me to the floating island New World, and tells me to treat this place as a survival game, somewhere I might evolve, or meet my end. I have no clue how a person evolves, but as for meeting my end, I was going to face that anyway if I stayed home, and in plain words it is telling us we can truly die here. It says my current location is a 10 square meter floating island and congratulates me on becoming a lord. 10 square meters, I can barely lie down in that, so I fail to see what I should be congratulating myself for. It explains that everyone receives a special product, that children and the elderly who cannot move on their own get assigned to a parent's or child's territory, then lists what I get as a lord, a random skill, a conscription camp, a lord's crystal platform, a lord's token, and 10 points of divine power. It says if I want to survive better and produce more, I must conquer everything, that I should discover the rest myself, and it wishes me to become a god. The whole string of announcements has me holding still, terrified of missing a word, and every word turns out to matter even though each one is maddeningly incomplete. That last line, "May you become a god," sets my blood roaring. Can a human being really evolve all the way up to a god? And what kind of thing would that even make me? When the voice stops, my body comes back to me, every cut and bruise gone like it never happened. And I am out of the well now, on solid ground with Rang Rang and the 2 chickens crammed beside me. All of us packed into this pitiful little square. Under my feet is the same familiar dirt, but everything beyond the edge is nothing. An endless wall of cloud and mist. So the new world is a floating island in the sky. The last thing I would have guessed. I cannot tell if that white is fog or cloud, only that it is too thick to see through. And here's the strange part. I have always been a little afraid of heights, and right now I feel no fear at all. None of my questions are getting answered. It turns out I am no protagonist, because I do not even have a private system. That voice spoke to all of humanity at once, not to me alone. What softens the blow is that everything I assumed I would never get to bring came with me anyway. The old well, most unbelievable of all, sitting dead center and eating the middle of my space. And I am overjoyed regardless, because I have never lived through survival, but I have watched enough shows to know what water is worth. I fell in like a fool and lost most of my supplies, and in exchange got the well itself. So this wave was not a loss after all. The well is narrow at the top and wide at the bottom, the mouth less than half the size of the floor, the only reason all of us squeezed in. Next, I take inventory of everything beside the well. Half a sack of rice, about 20 caddies, a wok, a backpack, a quilt, 3 sets of dirty clothes on the rim, 2 pairs of shoes, the pulley rig, a bucket, the big tank, a set of fish traps, 2 chickens, 1 dog, and the fish in the tank and traps, nothing else. Looking down, I see fish still in the cages, so I pour them into the tank, not willing to let them die, because until I have a stable food supply, these are life-saving. And facing an unknown like this, more food means a little more peace of mind. Because Rang Rang never fully zipped the backpack, only 2 packets of seeds were left by the time he dragged it here, Chinese cabbage and chili peppers. And in the end, the backpack, the quilt, and both chickens are all things I owe entirely to him. On a scrap of land this small, 2 extra lives are worth more than I can say to a man this alone, and this arrogant rooster has every right to his arrogance, so I address him with full respect as Lord Chicken. I pat Rang Rang's head and tell him without hesitation that he is my lucky general. With my belongings sorted, I turn to the 3 objects hanging in the air, the starter items the system handed every lord, and I reach for the smallest, the token, and once I get a good look, I am almost speechless, because they call this thing a token and it is no different from a cell phone. A new electronic voice answers, a mature woman's this time, telling me I have merged with the Lord's token and unlocked a probe skill that lets me read the information on any item, and instructing me to set up the Lord's crystal platform in the conscription camp. Then recruit at least 1 soldier. I like the skill. It is genuinely useful, except every Lord probably has the same one, so there is no sense of having earned anything. I know this is just the opening procedure, so the crystal platform goes down next. I grab the cylindrical platform, feel no weight at all, and a phantom about 1 meter tall flickers into being while its details unfold in my mind. A primary crystal platform, the core of my territory. Lost Lord status if destroyed, so I am to guard it. Health 500 out of 500, with a dimensional space, placing items on it letting me trade with other lords, though it needs the Lord's token to operate and it can be upgraded. The probe really is handy, but this platform is so fragile it makes me wince. No defense at all. And complaining aside, if it is not set up, nothing else moves forward, and just on its trading function, every lord alive would be unable to turn it down. I clear out a corner and set the 1 square meter platform there. Next comes the conscription camp, the last gift, demanding 2 square meters, not optional, so my cramped lot feels tighter. The probe reads it as a primary conscription camp recruiting level 1 spearmen. Free conscription available at 10 out of 10, and 1 free soldier per day, and beyond that I can spend 5 pieces of wood, 5 pieces of stone, 500 grams of food as rations, and 500 grams of clear water for resource conscription. No cap up to my maximum leadership value. And upgrading the camp unlocks more advanced troop types. The moment I summon my first spearman, more messages roll in. 1 level 1 spearman has joined my troops. I have completed part of the Lord's task and unlocked some of the token's functions. And I have received a random profession book, a random specialty card, a sale tree, and a gold-producing stone, all bound and untradeable, plus 10 divine power. So the other 3 rewards were locked behind setting up the platform in the camp, but what in the world are this extra sale tree and gold-producing stone? All of this feels eerily like the games I used to play, except now it is really happening, as solid as virtual reality made flesh, and my tiny space gets even more crowded with the soldier added in. When my eyes land on him, this figure conjured out of thin air in gleaming silver armor. His information follows: a level 1 spearman, health 6, attack 3, defense 0, magic defense 0, speed 1, daily upkeep of 100 grams of food and 100 grams of purified water, with a warning that summoned soldiers are mindless, cannot speak, and should be treated as thoughtless humanoid weapons whose strength leans heavily on the Lord's and the hero's attributes, or on bonuses from treasures. The upkeep looks small, but once the numbers grow it will turn into a real weight on a Lord at my stage. This whole set of armor looks like divine gear, and somehow the defense reads 0, but once I finish the description my interest drains away, because a humanoid weapon that cannot hold a conversation shuts me up. They are pathetically weak, but having them beats not, even just as bodies to soak up a hit, and only when I get strong will a troop type like this mean anything. There is plenty I have not worked out, so I pull the specialty card out of the platform, bound and useless to anyone else. The probe says a specialty card, once used, turns a random item in my territory into a specialty, cannot target intelligent life forms, and asks me to confirm. So I confirm, and the card dissolves into a ball of light that drifts in slow circles around my patch, settles onto a catfish in the tank, and vanishes. What just happened? It said it could not target intelligent life, and the probe reads the fish the light struck as a freshwater catfish, a common item rich in nutrients, significantly reduces hunger. That is the entire description. This plain, it cannot be right. But when I glance over at the tank itself, information shows up that knocks me flat. The probe names it a D-rank specialty fish-producing water tank that randomly produces 2,000 grams of various freshwater fish and shrimp every single day, and its description practically smirks at me. As long as you keep me full of water, believe it or not, I will give you fish to eat every day, with territory prosperity plus 10, and it can be upgraded. Is this the legendary iron rice bowl? If everyone got one of these, who would need to struggle? You could just lie flat and let the fish roll in. Except I know full well not everyone is this lucky. And now there is a second mystery, this prosperity stat I do not understand. The joy still fresh on my face while the confusion creeps back. No, that is not right, because by any logic a tank-turned specialty should produce 1 tank a day or some quantity of water. So what is with producing fish, and only ever river fish? If anyone tells me this has nothing to do with that light orb landing on the river fish, I would not believe it if they beat me to death. This is a bug. The way I used to play games, the main brain caught it and shoved the function onto the tank, and the fish it spits out will never include a species that was not already swimming in there. It is only a guess, with nobody around to confirm it, and once the excitement settles, I remember my level 1 spearman burns resources every day too, and that spark of joy gutters out. My supposedly easy life cannot even feed 2 trash soldiers on top of myself. But in a new world where everyone is a lord, even if I never scheme against anyone, I still have to raise soldiers just to stay alive. Because only with troops at my back do I feel anything close to secure. I go back to the platform and pull out the sail tree, a D-grade treasure, 5 meters tall and 50 centimeters thick, unique to the floating island with 1 square meter of island area. Its sail-shaped leaves let the island move and angle by hand to steer. Its power 10 kilometers an hour in a straight line with 1 acceleration burst per day that does not stack. Outputting 1 piece of wood daily, the higher its level the faster the island moves, and the more wood it makes, evolving by absorbing the wood it produces. Its description taunting me outright. If you want the island to run fast, do not take my wood. There is output, and I am not allowed to touch it, and looking at the gold-producing stone I get a sinking feeling it pulls the same trick. I am right, and there is no reward for being right. Only fresh frustration because it is a D-grade treasure too, 1 meter tall and 50 centimeters thick, with its own square meter of land, outputting 1 piece of stone daily. The higher its level, the more stone, and a key source of rare ore, evolving by absorbing its own stone. Sneering at me too. Want better building materials? Then let me upgrade. Do not take my stone. No hope, no disappointment. I set both items at the edge of the island, and my 10 square meters instantly gains 2 more, so I decide to treat them as background props, which beats the endless mist with nothing else to look at, and there is a real gain in there, because the island now has power, even if the speed is laughable. I pick up the last item, the profession book, and my chest tightens, because everything else I can manage, but this one is tied straight to my future, and the randomness leaves it wide open. I have bought lottery tickets for years and never won, so all that hoarded luck should have shattered the sky by now. My luck really ought to explode at least once, and I confirm the use. The system tells me I used a random profession book and obtained the Lord Profession Card Master, that I have unlocked Lord attributes and personal attributes, and to check the token. Only now do I have a second to fiddle with this thing that looks for all the world like a phone, and it is surprisingly easy to use. The first thing it shows me being the time. New World Day 1, 10 in the morning, temperature 24 degrees, the air cool and pleasant. Below that sit a few panels. Information, trade, build, personal, and unlocked. And everyone makes sense except that last unlocked panel, so I tap personal first. 2 more options open, Lord panel and territory panel, and I tap the Lord panel. It names me Seo Hyuk, Floating Island Lord, age 25, divine power 10 points, leadership value 1 out of 10, strength 1 giving 1 attack, defense 1 for 1 defense, stamina 1 for 10 health, speed 1 for 1 attack speed, spirit 2 for 20 magic power, equipment slot empty, and it warns attributes are not constant. That survival status badly affects combat numbers. That part I get. Thirst and hunger and exhaustion and cold and heat all drag down my fighting strength. But in a fresh starting state, it is not pulling me down much yet. My profession is Card Master, an unadvanced Dark Mage class. It's spell strutting. Believe it or not, I will turn you into a poker card, consuming magic power to turn friendly non-living entities, or defeated enemies into one-time card props that still enjoy the Lord's and the Hero's attribute bonuses. I frown, because with nothing to compare it against I cannot judge it, and something nags at me. A skill that does not raise damage or buff my troops does not look promising in a Lord's hands. but turning beaten enemies into cards is clearly powerful, and it was called a random skill and turned out a random profession. The system is nothing but tricks. The combat numbers are too thin, the attributes painful to look at. I tap over to the territory panel and finally get a deeper read. Followers, none. Hero, none. Pets, my rural dog Rang Rang and an unnamed rooster. Troops, 1 level 1 spearman. And the panel notes that heroes and pets do not cost leadership value. A small mercy. Total prosperity reads 50. And when I tap view details, I finally understand where prosperity comes from. Even if I have no idea yet what it is for. The ordinary water well at plus 20, the fish producing tank at plus 10, the sailed tree at plus 10, the gold producing stone at plus 10. The rest of the resource breakdown laid out below and already known to me by heart. The information and trade channels both light up red and chime non-stop. I tap into the information panel, top left reading current area, 1,000 people. The channel's area, world, friends and alliance below it. The world channel button dark and not yet available. Friends and alliance glowing but empty since I have not touched them. Inside a few minutes, the regional channel has piled past 99 messages. And that familiar flood at least makes me feel like humanity has not vanished. I tap in, and it is a circus. Every message met by a contrarian. People thanking the system for saving them and getting told they will die anywhere. People moaning about kids and elders and getting reminded the Lord's followers each get a unique specialty. Self-appointed survival experts told to come back once they know what the barracks are for. A whole chorus admitting their lifelong fear of heights has evaporated. Even a few hawking their bodies for resources to broke takers who can only watch. I look at the sheer number of people worse off than me and finally feel some relief, muttering that I do not want to see others destitute. I just do not want anyone living better than I am. The early talkers all go quiet, and only when I notice the box beside the message field do I understand. Everyone gets 5 chances to speak per day, and for a born chatterbox that is pure torture. It is not until someone brings up what divine power can do that my attention snaps to it, because anything with the word divine attached is bound to matter, and I will not burn my 10 points before I understand where it comes from, and how to wring the most from it. A new mother gushes that divine power is incredible, that her 1-year-old specialty is his own feeding bottle. 1 bottle of milk a day, nowhere near enough. So she spent 3 points upgrading it and now it makes 3. A wave of replies follows, mostly people who also boosted their own specialties, surfacing to find someone who thought the same way. Then a middle-aged man named Wang Pio cuts in and advises her to spend her divine power wisely, because the existence of barracks means combat is coming, and she should not forget the system called Soldiers a Lord's Blade. It is like he kicked a hornet's nest, the channel rounding on him for having no humanity toward a tiny child at a crucial stage of growth, demanding what else a woman like her can do, snapping that people who starve to death will not need to fight. After that, Wang Kyo says nothing more, but I agree with him to the bone, even though the new mother truly does have it rough, because his words sound cold and heartless, and underneath them sits real sincerity. The new mother can tell good advice from bad, and she replies to Wang Pyo directly, thanking him but explaining she has no other choice, that her specialty is cotton quilts, which she cannot turn into the water and food she and her child need. After a while, Wang Pyo answers, saying he is just a survivor too, in no position to lecture her, but he will show her a few things to consider for her future, and posts screenshots of 3 items. The first is a weapon, a rare grade Goblin Vanguard Saber, tactical equipment with attack +2, noting unit soldiers can enjoy tactical equipment bonuses. The second is a card, a C grade specialty upgrade card, asking whether you have a D grade specialty you want upgraded. The third is a rice bag laid flat in a palm, a special item that carries 100 caddies of grain with no weight burden, essential for marching. After that, Wang Pyo goes silent, maybe out of speaking chances, maybe just slipping back to lurk, but his items light a fire under everyone. He just had to show up right after I told myself I did not want anyone doing better than me. No question this guy got those items through combat, and I watch with naked envy and mutter that the Goblin Vanguard Saber by the name alone must drop from at least an elite monster, that the game has barely begun and this man can already take on bosses. Genuinely impressive. Then I catch myself, because he advised everyone to dump divine power into military strength, so he must have done it himself. Maybe not so impressive after all. Even lucky drops are not necessarily worth more than divine power, and being strong early does not mean he stays strong forever. Sour grapes firmly in hand, I tap into the build panel, and what is inside fills me with tired helplessness. The list is fairly complete, every structure with its attributes, the most basic crude wooden house blocking hail, shrugging off a little extreme heat or cold, and slightly cutting the chance of getting sick, that little slightly the gap between life and death. But its more important trait is clearing the mist from my vision in a 10-meter radius, so with luck I spot an enemy a step ahead, and paired with the sail tree's acceleration burst, fighting or fleeing both become real options. Grind for materials and upgrade to a sturdy wooden house, and that vision pushes out another 10 meters. A workbench produces tools and even equipment, and defense towers and vegetable greenhouses can all be built. 2 hard requirements stare me down, enough land and enough resources. The cruel part being that every building eats a serious chunk of space, the most basic crude wooden hut alone demanding 10 square meters of land and 50 wood plus 50 stone. Honestly, the other buildings can wait, because the one thing I want most is a toilet, except I cannot even lie down properly right now, and I do not have a single piece of wood to my name. Once I have a feel for the build panel, it is time for food, and trading for wood would be ideal, since who is going to outwater me? Instead of rushing to post, I scroll the trade panel to learn the market, and it is exactly what I figured. Food and water wanted most by a mile, for a person's own belly or to keep troops fed, since not everyone grabbed what they needed inside that 10-minute window. Wood and stone needed by everyone demanded most and produced least. Have hardened into the local currency. The rough rate 250 grams of food equal to 500 grams of water equal to 1 unit of wood equal to 1 unit of stone. Close enough. Only a handful of hot daily necessities keep pace. Things like refined salt, lighters, or containers. At least 1,000 grams of food or purified water apiece. When I move to buy, the system tells me I lack purified water, and after some fumbling I figure out I have to draw the well water into the open for it to count as tradable. Now I have water to spare, and no matter how pricey an item, as long as it is small and I want it, I snap it up, because if my territory were not so tight, I would not give anything up so easily. But I have not lost sight of my goal, and first I draw water again and again into the crystal platform subspace. 1 point of stamina does not get a man far, 4 buckets in and my legs are shaking, and only then do I stop. Then I list well water on the trade channel, 650 grams of clear water for 1 unit of wood or stone, and post on the regional channel that this brother is collecting building materials. Anyone needing purified water can make an offer. Naturally, it draws a crowd, because the price is genuinely cheap, the channel filling with people mocking my flexing, swearing I will get struck by lightning for showing off, others snapping at them to just check for themselves and calling them heartless ingrates for badmouthing a generous big shot. Complaints, curses, rough men play acting as ladies, and the people I am actually helping leaping to defend me. All of it scrolls past without a reply. Right now I am sitting on the well curb, setting up a pot, lighting a fire, cooking fish, and I chose automatic trading, so the rest takes care of itself. Water from the crystal platform appearing in another lord's subspace according to the price, and drawing it out with a container is their problem, not mine. At this stage, every survivor is poor, and nobody is sitting on a mountain of building materials, so all I can do is gather it bit by bit. And as for the extra water, I have my reasons, because down the line I will need building materials in far more places than I can supply alone, and sweetening the deal makes people far more eager to trade their goods to me. Since we are all in the same region, we are brothers. Same sentiment as always. I cannot stand to watch my brothers struggle. I am just too kind. There is something else on my mind I do not say out loud. I know this lord game well enough on the surface, but the second I face real enemies it will expose me as a complete novice, and I have no confidence in getting rich by hunting bosses. But when I saw the city walls and defense towers in the build panel, that path felt tailor-made for me, which means I am going to need a lot of people pitching in to develop my land. I am no protagonist and I have no golden finger, so building up slow and steady is not too much to ask. But I am overlooking one problem, that walls and defense towers both need a large enough territory, and territory does not expand without battles. I scatter a few handfuls of rice and both chickens perk up, and while they are distracted I turn the probe on the rooster. A pet at level 1, health 25, attack 6, defense 2, magic defense 1, with a talent skill called Flying Peck, that strikes the head. A 10% chance to ignore defense for double damage, and a 50% chance for triple weak point damage on any enemy without head protection. Already boosted by my lord attributes. I am satisfied those look a great deal better than a level 1 spearman's, and the hen reads as an adult hen, common species laying 1 edible and hatchable egg a day when food is plentiful. Exactly what a chicken should do. Both chickens being here it all traces back to Rang Rang, the rooster most of all. A free advanced troop unit that does not even eat into my troop slots. A serious asset if I use that talent well. I pat the dog who has guarded me the whole time and tell him again that he really is my lucky general, meaning it more than the first time, though his eyes are locked on the pot. I fish out a big fish and drop it into a basin I traded for him, and while he eats I check him. A Chinese rural dog, Rang Rang, a pet at level 1, health 25, attack 6, defense 3, magic defense 2, with a talent skill called Dragon Tear Bite, that ambushes fast, a 35% chance to drag an enemy down and rob it of an attack. Especially brutal against spellcasters, dealing triple weak point damage on a hit, again boosted by my lord attributes. 2 extra combat units, free of charge, and if I do not develop better than everyone else, that would be unreasonable. I tuck into my first meal in the new world, knowing plenty of people kept pets back in the old world, so I am not the only lord with this edge. The meal is simple, but between the cramped conditions and limited tools it takes a full hour from start to first bite, and the whole time I cook, the friend requests never stop. Not looking at my phone while I eat is one of my few good habits, but for everyone else it is a different story. You are eating, so you cannot reply to a single message, cannot accept a friend request. Is moving your fingers really that hard? I finish, full at last, and everyone who added me gets my answer in the same instant. Then my floating island lurches under me, and a frantic system alarm screams through my head. My territory under enemy attack, ordering me to gather my troops and crush them, telling me to protect my crystal with my life. The outside world, drowned in fog 1 second ago, parts to reveal a floating island twice the size of mine, locked onto mine, the two fused at the seam. That pitiful 20 square meter island carrying 10 half-human tall green-skinned creatures, small bodies, huge noses, pointed ears, each gripping a wooden club, hideous things, exactly the goblins from every game I ever played. This close I see the attackers clear as day, and nothing on their island escapes me either. The system only warns me now, the enemy already at my doorstep in a space this tiny. Far too late to recruit, and I am drowning in regret, because when the system called soldiers my blade I never thought to recruit in advance. Looking at the rooster with every feather standing on end, and Rang Rang barking himself hoarse, I could kick myself for being so careless. Is this road of survival going to end before it even begins? I brace for the killing blow, but the goblins only keep hammering at the seam where the two islands meet, unable to break through. And before I can work out what is holding them, a system notification tells me I am inside a 3-day novice protection period, and asks whether I want to drop the shield and fight the invaders to the death, yes or no. It scared the life out of me, because if there was a novice shield, why not say so earlier? I can play non-stop, yet my mind goes clearer than it has all day, because apparently the more danger some people sit in, the calmer they think. The system warned me late because my vision is choked with fog, and the shield only surfacing once the enemy reached my door, is meant to teach humans the rules first. If the system is nudging me toward a fight, maybe this wave is a starting bonus. And if I let these novice benefits slip, there may never be another. All guesses, but I am the kind of man who, once he decides, does not waver, and if I am going to swallow them, I need soldiers first. While the camp recruits, I do not sit idle, throwing the probe onto one goblin that plainly stands out, a goblin treasure hunt team leader at level 3. Health 30, Attack 8, Defense 3, Magic Defense 2, with a blunt weapon trait that deals double damage to buildings, drawn to anything shiny, especially crystals, even crystal fragments. The other's reddish treasure hunt goblins at level 2, Health 20, Attack 5, Defense 2, Magic Defense 1, same blunt weapon trait, fond of glowing things, hateful toward any enemy that blocks their payday. Those numbers terrify me, because my level 1 spearman, with my bonuses folded in, reads Health 16, Attack 4, Defense 1, Magic Defense 1. What kind of fight is that? Even counting Rang Rang and the rooster, it is anyone's guess who comes out alive. No, it cannot be impossible, because Wang Pyo already pulled it off, and he even told everyone to spend divine power on soldiers. So he either upgraded his troops or his barracks, and those items he flashed clearly dropped from higher level monsters. Good odds he upgraded his camp. But I know myself, and without divine power to break the deadlock, a true troop control master might manage it. Yet at my skill level in a space this cramped, it is flat out impossible, and I have nothing to boost my military strength. Thinking of skills, I could smack myself, because I hid my trump card so well I nearly forgot it. Looking at the 10 level 1 spearmen now crushing the last of my 10 square meters, my whole family has to flatten against the edges, me on the manhole cover, my pets on the water tank lid, my supplies on the well curb leaving nowhere to put a foot. Soldiers are not living beings, so treating them like people is just throwing affection at a wall. I am going to turn them into playing cards. The system tells me I consumed 10 mana points to turn 10 level 1 spearmen into disposable card items that still enjoy the lords and the hero's attribute bonuses. And looking at the 10 cards in my hand, faces printed with the spearmen, I feel the tension drain out, because this is the key to breaking the deadlock. It was selling my water cheat that let me trade for enough recruitment resources this fast. And just like the brothers in the channel said, good people get good rewards. So thank you all in advance. That earlier decision looks brilliant now, so I keep recruiting. And since the platform's items already count as part of my territory, I only have to tap resource recruitment in the barracks. The system tells me I spent 50 wood, 50 stone, 5,000 grams of food, and 5,000 grams of fresh water. And 10 more spearmen have joined my troops. The goblins keep hammering tirelessly at the novice shield, and apparently as long as I make no choice they will not leave. The prompt sitting there, drop the shield and fight to the death, yes or no. Yes, the shield vanishes and the goblins finally get their wish. I will admit I am terrible at controlling troops, but I am not clueless, and in a lord game, the second I have more soldiers than you, all your positioning and kiting become a joke. The instant I fling a handful of cards onto the battlefield, my combat power doubles, and with my 2 pets allowed only to ambush from the flanks and never trade blows head-on, raw numbers make the outcome a foregone conclusion. The whole fight I coast, because with my 1 point of attack I cannot scratch the monster's defense, but none of that matters, because a victory won by drowning the enemy in bodies is still a victory. I will turn you into playing cards. The goblin corpses drown in a shower of light and are gone, replaced by 10 cards in my hand, each stamped with a goblin. 10 magic points for 10 stronger goblin cards. A fair trade any way I slice it. The system tells me I wiped out a goblin treasure hunting squad and perfectly defended my territory, earning a difficult level defense achievement. This is not hard at all. Achievement experience 1 out of 10. Reward 2 attribute points with more rewards for more achievements, noting that a difficult assessment means the commander's total troop strength averages 1 level below the enemy's. I look at the 2 joined territories and smile, because this battle, won by mass-producing soldiers and shoving forward, went exactly the way I wanted. After the dust settles, I see the spent cards gone, and only 3 spearmen left, overcommitted and wasting most of my force. But then I picture Wang Pio's gear and the territory I am about to expand into, and the sacrifices shrink to nothing. I still fought too simply, because the system would never let anyone grow strong this comfortably, and it asks how I want to handle the enemy's floating island. Destroy for a chance at weapons, gear, daily necessities and specialty upgrade cards, or occupy for a chance at a specialty and a shot at expanding my territory. My smile freezes, because others might get a choice but I do not. My equipment, my heart aches. The wailing solves nothing and at least calms me. After this fight I have no novice shield, and I would not dare go without Night Watch troops, except my plot is already swallowed by the well, and if I do not take this territory even sleeping tonight becomes a problem. Since this is survival, I protect my precious self first. Worst case I build houses and lean into defense later. No equipment then no equipment. I am no good at leading troops anyway. If I cannot be a tiger, can I at least be a turtle? With no real choice, I sourly pick occupy. The system tells me my territory expanded by another 24 square meters, that each expansion grants 1 chance to reshape the terrain, that my total area is now 36 square meters, and congratulates me on a D-grade specialty. Extra large toilet paper 1 roll a day for territory prosperity, +1. Asking whether I want to use it. It said extra large and meant it, because 1 roll in my hands would last me a year. Dog system, I risked my life for this, but I shake my head and let the rest of the sentence die. Fine, I accept my fate, because it is a necessity no matter what, so I cannot even work up the anger to curse it. Specialties pulled from monsters can normally be traded, but I choose to use it and keep it for myself. Looking at the extra 24 square meters of bare land and my 2 new attribute points, my mood lifts because reluctant as the choice was, it turned out well, and given how rotten my luck has been, even destroy might not have gotten me what I wanted. Tangible, visible territory makes me feel more secure. There is no need to reshape the old ground, so I lay out the new space fast, every bit of it essential building that has to go up the moment I have room. I block off 4 square meters in a corner for a small toilet, and build exactly that, the system telling me I consume 10 wood and 10 stone for a simple toilet. No odor. Territory prosperity +5. Materials spent, a toilet conjured out of thin air and facing a scene that should only exist in games. I stay calm. Smell or no smell, just let me enjoy it first. Half an hour later I emerge, refreshed, having already mapped the rest into a clean square. A crude wooden cabin has to go up, if only for that trait of clearing 10 square meters of fog, non-negotiable, because even a few seconds of early warning buys me time to react, and upgraded to a sturdy wooden house that shelters me fully from wind and rain in extreme weather. A true home. But my materials are already thin. Only 14 wood and 4 stone left, not enough to recruit a single level 1 soldier, so stone is clearly harder to come by than wood. Attribute points and divine power can wait. It is time to restock. I pick up the Lord's token and look at the 99 plus friend requests, and I curl my lip, planning to ignore the lot, because everyone is a stranger and a little distance is wise. They all know I am drowning in water, so what if they play the victim, lure me into video chats and teasing, flash some cleavage and leg, it might rattle even my will of steel. And then how would I quietly get rich? My finger slides across the screen on its own and lands on someone I recognize. Even an expert wants to add me. Hard to turn down. He must be running short on water. And what if he has good stuff and I miss out next time I am low? That would break my heart. So I very eagerly accept Wang Pio's friend request, without once wondering whether he will actually sell anything worthwhile. This girl below, that figure, those legs, that face, genuinely not bad, but I still will not be accepting your request. The next moment a girl named Gina sits in my friend list. I will never admit I was captivated by a perfect face. My hand merely slipped. I opened the trade interface, and the well water I listed earlier, sold out long ago. The price now shot up to 1 piece of wood for 320 grams, double what I charged, and even then it gets snatched the instant it appears. It is easy to guess this retail trick is mostly survivors who used their earlier window to hoard water, then clamped down once the prices climbed. But with me here, you can all keep your water for yourselves. Old routine, draw the well water and put it on the platform, and the first 4 buckets go fine. But when I push past exhaustion, my own health dropping. For a 5th, a system prompt stops me, warning that I am about to overexploit the water resource, that this permanently lowers the well's output, and that I must wait 24 hours before doing it again. What is this? When I watered the vegetable garden every summer, our family's treasured well never once asked me to show restraint, and now over a measly 8 buckets it calls me an overexploiter. Is this a joke? I am furious. This damn system blocks me every single time I try to do anything. But a thin arm cannot wrestle a thick thigh, and I have to back down, because this well is my lifeline to early wealth. And in truth, I already know a common well's prosperity outranks a specialty's. So given how tight my territory is, it is reasonable the well gets throttled. I pour the 5th bucket back in, and the thought of raising prices dies the instant it appears, because survivors at this stage have so little, and getting greedy would wreck my reputation for nothing. What I want is long-term cooperation, not a few extra grams, so same price as before, 650 grams of clean water for 1 wood or 1 stone, and I switch to the regional channel to call out again. Just as I finish typing and reach to send, I stop, because someone is already advertising for me, announcing that the big shot in our area selling cheap water has surfaced again, and telling people to grab it before the scalpers buy it all and resell at a markup. Thanks pour in alongside the groans of those who already overpaid, and the jeers at them for buying expensive when they knew a cheap seller existed. Then a man named Co Ire weighs in, saying the big shot really is something, but why only building materials, since he would not need this much wood just to recruit soldiers, leaving people whose specialties are not building materials, and who are badly short on water, with nothing to gain. Someone explains the big shot is obviously going the defensive route, and when Co Ire argues a 6 square meter scrap cannot fit a house, and is better destroyed for resources, the other calls him ignorant, since not everyone faces the same enemies, the leader of the Women's Legion having captured a 15 square meter island and destroyed hers for drool-worthy treasure. The reviews run overwhelmingly in my favor, the rare critic buried under public opinion and quietly retreating. Lurking in the background, I am secretly thrilled, because I love watching people talk about me behind my back. That is how I learn whether my moves are landing, and I file away every single person who came at me, gaining at minimum confirmation that my 24 square meter territory was worth every bit I paid. After a while, it gets less interesting, so I scroll up the history, and there is Wang Pyo again, flashing defense plus 2 pants, floating the idea of a mutual aid alliance, and then asking people to add him for private chats before disappearing. Some rip into him for being too cutthroat, recruiting only people with useful specialties, while others say the alliance is genuinely good, truth and lies braided so no outsider can read the real situation. Either way, I have zero interest, but one thing is clear, this Wang Pyo really is excellent at leading troops and winning fights. If his alliance is still forming, the beautiful friend named Gina I added by accident has already built a true one, so widely supported because she displayed an item and threw in its full description for free. A tent called the Reinforcement Camp, a common grade alliance treasure taking 1 square meter. Letting a leader send troops to a member's territory through the main tent to help defend without costing leadership points. The restrictions surely go beyond defensive battles, but how many troops and members? None of that is known to outsiders. And her alliance recruits only women, the Women's Legion. I never imagined the 2 friends I added on a whim are both major figures, and in less than a day someone already has the muscle to build factions. Surreal. All the good things belong to other people. It seems all I can do is take the defensive road. Once the sourness sets in, I lose some of my spark, so I browse the trade listings before building my house, and something stops me cold. A D-grade black soil, high-quality earth that resists extreme weather and grows crops fast, taking 1 square meter. The trade channel has plenty of soil sellers, but this is the only listing with attributes, and it has sat for hours without a single buyer. Then I relax, because most people in the channel are getting swept along watching others pull treasures and combat power soar, all of them chasing loot through treasure hunting since the drop rate is high. But loot is no stable source, and a dry spell would leave them with nothing to eat. This black soil also eats a lot of space, so anyone who hunts treasure and raises soldiers has no room to farm it, while those interested lack seeds, and those with seeds cannot wait for crops to mature. Everyone knows it is good, and for a dozen reasons the good item just will not sell, most of all because it is genuinely not cheap, the upfront cost too steep and the returns too slow for an average person. But am I an average person? I am a man with seeds and territory. Your stuff is expensive though, so it is only fair I haggle a little. Can it be cheaper, I type, after tapping contact seller. Song Yusin sees my haggling the instant it lands and feels genuinely irritated. And she has a reason because just 2 days ago she was still holding his photo a long while, and he plainly has no idea who she is. The tall, slender Seo Hyuk was very handsome, and he was her sister's first boyfriend, back when her sister's happiness had soaked deep into her, a girl just feeling the first stirrings of love. But Seo Hyuk's family was too poor. Her parents flatly refused to let her sister keep dating him, and the relationship ended before it could begin. So maybe out of plain curiosity, Song Yusin kept asking after him, and her sister would talk about him endlessly, until the young girl knew a startling amount about a man she had never met. Everyone's first love is perfect, the descriptions inflated, so Song Yusin listened with deep envy. All of it was supposed to fade, but Blue Star started counting down to its end. And when life is about to finish, people always want to look back. In her photo album, after she tossed the childhood pictures she could not remember, only her school years were left. And at 18, there was not much worth reminiscing over. because under her parents' iron watch, no boy was ever allowed near their precious daughter. So the only man in the album was this brute named Seo Hyuk, a familiar stranger. And since he was a stranger, the strong-willed girl never reached out first, and the moment he started haggling, she knew for certain he did not recognize her. Watching him throw around all that water and still chisel down one of her items, when that black soil was what she traded for 5 days worth of food money, lands hard. She replies, asking whether eating 2 pieces of bread a day is really a lot, and the answer completely throws me, because I am haggling over an item's price, and she comes back about bread, and if something is wrong with this person's head, haggling further would be a bit cruel. Song Yusin realizes she drifted off track, but she does not want to lose this buyer, the first to approach her meaning to actually buy, so she screenshots her specialty's description and sends it. A C-grade specialty. Black soil, producing 1 square meter of D-grade black soil every 5 days, accelerating crop maturity, resisting extreme weather beautifully, doubling crop yield when fertilizer is plentiful. Sometimes a single image beats any explaining. I count on my fingers, 1 bread is 400 grams, 2 a day 4,000 grams across 5 days, just her tightening her belt before I count what her troops eat. For an ordinary person to live on, 2 pieces of bread a day life is genuinely hard, and pushing the haggling further would be a little heartless. Though whether I am heartless I do not care, because everyone is a survivor now and talking about human kindness is posturing. Same as selling my water cheap, it is an exchange of benefits, mine reaped in the long term. But her black soil cannot be found anywhere else, and 1 or 2 pieces will never cover my needs. So since I need it, this favor is not one to throw away, because survival cannot lean on killing monsters forever, and self-sufficiency is the true winning path. How about I buy it tomorrow? I tell her. I have spent all my resources today, and if she trusts me, she can hold it and sell me her future yields too. I do not want to trade rice, and the river fish I produce does not cover the price. And besides, the fish is dinner for me in Rang Rang, so I would rather trade water for food tomorrow and then buy the black soil. Later. Who can say what later brings? Is this just an excuse not to buy? Song Yusin startles and goes anxious, because a young lady like her cannot beg food off him, yet she will not let the buyer off the hook either, silently fuming that no resources to buy is no excuse when all those huge piles of building materials could just as easily be traded for food. Except she is afraid saying it aloud would make him lose face and get her quietly blacklisted, killing even her shot at his cheap water. Alright, that works. I tell her, big shot that I am, add me as a friend, I will pull the item off the shelf, and tomorrow when I have supplies I can trade with her straight through the friend list, saving the hunt for the listing. And anyway, I will not die from 1 day of hunger. It is also a test on her end, and she has even considered selling the black soil for half the food she had planned, because they all say big shots do not add friends, so refusing would prove I am not sincere, while agreeing gives her a future channel for it. As long as she has food and drinks a little less water, she can spare the sail tree's wood, get her island moving, and use divine power to upgrade her barracks and kill monsters for supplies. The only way out she can see, picked up from living glued to the channel, that using the sail tree's output temporarily kills the island's power, that an island which does not move a certain distance generally will not meet monsters, and that experts there even share troop control techniques. Song Yusin learned it all and locked it away in her memory. Song Yusin, such a familiar name. So why can I not remember a single thing? This familiar yet strange feeling is awful. The girl is the delicate and gentle type, very cute, and I truly do not know her, because if I had ever met a girl this pretty, there is no way I would have zero impression of her. Song Yusin accepts my friend request. Fine, no more agonizing. Since she has no impression of me either, it proves I was overthinking. Hungry for a day, that cannot be true. I say, did the system not give us 10 minutes to gather supplies before we came here? She actually agreed, lighting up and replying that it is no exaggeration to call her maybe the poorest survivor alive, that her random specialty turning out to be black soil says plenty. Luck comes around sooner or later, I tell her offhand, chuckling to myself, because I thought I had it bad and then bad luck turned into a blessing, and handed me a water well, while she clearly never caught that kind of luck, though she has black soil, a blessing of its own. It is hard at the beginning, but as long as she grinds through the early stage, that item will only appreciate, and life might get better then. I hope I get lucky in the future, Song Yusin says, and then she adds that you guard against fire, guard against thieves, and guard against best friends, that the ancients truly did not deceive her. She does not finish the thought, but I catch it at once, and I do not reply again, because making a girl recite her hardships on an empty stomach is not a decent thing to do. If I really wanted to hear her whole story laid out properly, it would be simple enough, since they say feeding people works wonders, and feeding her I could do. But on a broken little island like this, I am honestly in no mood to sit and listen to somebody else's story. I confirm the build, and the system tells me I spent 50 wood and 50 stone on a crude wooden hut, 10 square meters of it, a thing that blocks hail, shrugs off a little extreme heat and cold, cuts my odds of getting sick, carries 5 points of air defense and 50 points of building health, and most of all clears the fog in a 10 square meter ring around my island, with territory prosperity up another 10. The hut lands, and the gray that has walled in my whole world rolls back in a circle, and for the first time I can see past my own feet. 10 square meters is laughable, but at this stage it is enough to catch an enemy a heartbeat early and run, and that heartbeat is the entire reason a house is the heart of a territory. Upgrading to a sturdy wooden hut would cost 100 wooden hut would cost 100 stone apiece, which I cannot dream of yet. What is left of my materials runs heavier on wood than stone, twice as much wood in fact, so I cannot even recruit a full set of troops, but I still have that goblin level 2 card tucked away, so recruiting can wait. A determined turtle does not skip his shell though, so the defense tower goes up next. The system tells me I spent 30 wood and 15 stone on a crude defense tower, 4 square meters, range of 30 meters, 100 building health, needing 300 grams of food, and 300 grams of water a day. With a trait that fires on any enemy in range, ignores their armor, and lands a fixed 7 damage a second, prosperity up 5. It asks if I want to convert my 3 soldiers, and I confirm, and just like that I have no troops in hand and a tower that covers my whole patch instead. A fair trade, all things considered. The rooster lets out a crow, and I look over to find him glaring at me with murder in his eye, and I do not need a translator to read that look, because it plainly says this lord is starving, so be smart and feed me. Do not ask how I know what a chicken is thinking. I learned it the hard way, peck by peck. The only reason this short-fused tyrant dodged the stew pot and gets me waiting on him hand and foot is my grandfather, who said this rooster once saved his life and so spoiled him rotten, meaning to keep him till the old man died, except the old man went first. Now the bird has followed me into a whole new world, dumb luck of the highest order, and honoring my grandfather's wish is the least I can do, so I treat him like family. He was well behaved when we first landed here, and the gratitude lasted about as long as a free meal. Either way, he carried the first fight on his back, so I cannot mistreat him, and I sort out food for him and his hen before rang or I have eaten a bite. Across the fog, on another island I cannot see, a woman in her 30s with a charmer's face tells the man beside her, all excited, that she heard a rooster crow. The man she calls Scarface snaps that of course he heard it too, and why does she not shout louder so the people on the far island can pin their location while she is at it? She shrinks and mutters an apology, and he tells her not to get any clever ideas, that if she had not served him so well she would have rejoined her dead husband a long time ago. She purrs that she would never, that he is her whole world, that once they take the other lord down she will make tonight even sweeter for him. He shoves her clinging hands off his back and raises the binocular-looking thing in his grip to comb over every inch of my island. Even though his view is flat, that scope lays out every object on my territory as if he were staring down from a tower. The well, the placement of my supplies, the fresh defense tower, the stats on both my pets. All of it naked to him, everything except the Lord himself. Scarface is grinning, because the second he saw the water well he knew I was the big shot selling cheap water, and my island has not one soldier on it, and 2 decent pets will never stop his level 2 troops. Wipe me out, pocket my fortune, and what woman could he not have? So why guard one broken hag forever? He had planned a careful sneak attack and now figures he does not even need it. Still, he ought to keep the woman sweet a little longer, since followers hand half their attributes to the troops and he will not waste that. He tells her he was wrong to snap, that he was only too excited, and to get ready, because the moment they take the other lord down their good days begin. She whimpers that she is not angry, but she cannot fight, and his face goes flat as he asks whether he is showing her too much kindness, because in this world if she will not fight to the death at his side, why should he feed her? And with health that high, how could she possibly die? She panics and reminds him in a small voice that he promised to take care of her as long as she followed him, and Scarface laughs until he is out of breath, because does this woman have no brain in her head, throwing away her own husband, and still expecting to be cherished? His laughter cuts off cold, and he says he is telling her now that if she does not kill alongside him, he will throw her off the island, that she can live without a worry for food and water, or she can die like this, and she had better give him a firm answer. My island lurches hard, and a system alarm rips through my skull, warning me a survivor is attacking with intent to kill, and ordering me to rally my soldiers and fight. 10 square meters of warning turns out to be worth nothing, because one bursted acceleration and his island was glued to mine before I even finished flinching. He came in right at the toilet corner, where nothing blocks the way, so his troops can walk straight up and start dismantling my defense tower. Only now do I get a clear look at him, an island past 30 square meters with a sturdy wooden hut already built, which is exactly why I never spotted a shadow of him. 10 level 2 troops, a man and a woman holding the back line, his combat power flattening mine outright. Before I can even think, the defense tower opens up, -7, -7, -7, floating off the heads of his soldiers one after another. I may be a raw beginner at controlling troops, but I have an eye for a problem, and the problem is keeping them off my tower, stopping them on the road before they reach it. Without a second of hesitation, I fling out 9 level 2 goblin cards. The arrow's already in the air, and after the first volley, every goblin is down 4 health. Drown them in bodies, it is the only trick I know. That actually loosens the knot in my chest, because if shoving troops forward is the whole game, I can play it. A level 2 unit sits at 8 base health, plus my 10 lord points and the followers 5, call it 23, so I do not need the goblins to kill anyone, I just need them to stall and chew down health while the tower works, because 2 or 3 tower hits drops one of his soldiers cold. No wonder pets are rare, no wonder I baby mine, because the moment a real fight starts they charge in and grasp every command I give. Every bit as impossible as a man losing his fear of heights overnight. At my signal, Rang Rang slips wide and circles in behind Scarface, and even brace for it the man cannot stop a dog that uses skills, because Rang Rang's dragon tear bite ambushes fast, with a 35% chance to yank an enemy down and rob him of a turn, brutal against ranged fighters and casters, and on a hit it lands triple weak point damage. Scarface is an archer, the classic ranged glass figure, and Rang Rang drags him flat in the dirt, a big red -12 blooming over his head. Rang Rang only hits for 6, and the man's armor eats 2, so a normal swing would be 4, but the skill cracked him for 12, and left him with a sliver. And before he can even climb up, the rooster is already in his face. Down on the ground with the status hanging on him, Scarface hands the rooster the maximum bonus to his flying peck, -9, and the 2 pet skills together finish off a man who had only ever spent 1 point on his physique. Dying here means dying for real, and honestly Scarface knew he was done the instant a mob of level 2 goblins appeared out of nowhere, because his whole nerve had rested on my island having no soldiers. The woman shrieks and drops to her knees, begging me not to kill her, swearing she was forced into it, that she is very good at staying alive, that she will gladly become my follower. The second their feet touched my island, surrender and live stopped being on the menu. Forced or not, Scarface is already dead, so who is left to vouch for her? And I am not about to keep a stranger whose past I do not know parked at my side, because the moment I recall my troops the goblins vanish, and if she turns on me then, what do I defend myself with? A stranger's word is not worth my life, so the woman dies too. Cold, maybe. But everyone here is a survivor now, and posturing about human kindness is for people who can afford it. With both lords dead, the mindless soldiers lose their target and shift from red names to neutral yellow, free for the victor to absorb or scatter, and a man with no troops left does not let that walk away, so I take 5 of the level 2 units into my own ranks. Now I should recall my forces, count the spoils and end the fight. Except right at that moment a fresh island swims out of the fog. By every rule I just finished a battle, and my troops are all bleeding out. No time to rest, no business fighting again. But I am not built like other lords, because my soldiers are cards, and cards do not recycle. So if I sit this out, a whole army goes to waste. Better to spend them while they still draw breath. The system warns me a goblin unit has spotted me, telling me to prep for battle or accelerate clear, and I stay put and wait. Then it sharpens, telling me I have hit a rare monster, that a goblin mage is attacking, ordering me to rally my troops and guard my crystal with my life. The enemy crawls closer until I can read his whole roster. 9 units on an island maybe, 8 square meters across, a level 4 goblin mage at the head, 3 level 3 units behind him, and 5 level 2s. On my side I have 5 low health, level 2 units, 7 goblins, both pets, and a level 3 squad leader card whose numbers run well above a normal level 3, plus the defense tower at my back. Without the enemy lord's attribute boost, a true troop master could win this clean, but in my hands it reads barely winnable, and even that feels generous. Low health? Then top it off. I dump the 2 attribute points from the achievement straight into health, and every troop swells 20 points over its base, the pets pushing near 50, the squad leader cracking past 60. 15 units gaining 300 health all told. The math fuzzier than that, but the relief real. Honestly, my own combat power scares me a little, because even if my whole side stood frozen and let the enemy swing, the tower alone would shred most of them, and my side will not be standing frozen. The 2 islands kiss at the seam, and the battle is on, and I park my squad leader, my high health, high attack ace, right at the front of the line. I am so bad at this that even the storytelling it cannot be bothered to grade my choices, and at this point it does not matter whether they are right. The goblin mage lifts his magic book without a word of chanting, and an ice cone pulls itself together out of raw mana and flies straight at my squad leader. The cone's speed is nothing special. Any normal person with a few points in speed could sidestep it, but troops need reaction time, and they will never be as quick as a cursor on a screen, so a human or a pet might dodge it and a unit absolutely cannot. The cone lands for -40, and worse, the spell freezes my squad leader into an ice statue for a full minute, and when the close fighting starts, my prized ace gets shattered into glittering shards in a few swings and winks out his motes of light. He does not die for nothing though, because the pikeman's long reach lets him strike first, and while the mage is busy executing the squad leader, the pikeman's second jab follows, and from there it is a straight slugging match. The mage tucks his book away and, escorted by his level 3 units, pulls a staff off his hip and wades into melee himself. Fierce as anything. Nothing like what a mage is supposed to be, and the beginner in me actually thinks for a second that level 4 units are just that broken. Between the alarm and the sight of a 40 damage hit, I nearly wet myself, because one of those would erase me on the spot. One swing took away my entire trump card, I think, sick to my stomach. My own attack too feeble to even scratch the mage's armor, so charging him bravely would accomplish nothing. So I tell Rang Rang not to attack but to lock onto that mage, and the instant he reaches for the book again, interrupt him. Take the hit if he has to, because I refuse to believe that monster has only one trick. The skill has just not cooled down yet. I watch my obedient dog pad off to his post and let out a breath, thinking he really might be the best companion I have got. Turns out I am overthinking it, because monsters without a lord behind them are not so terrifying after all. They burn through my forces, sure, but they end up on a sliver of health themselves, picked off one by the defense tower that ignores their armor. I order both wounded pets all the way to the rear, because that level 4 monster's defense is so high they cannot even break it, taking pure loss for their trouble, and only the tower, which does not care about armor, can hurt it at all. High defense on a level 4 is normal, but being flat out unbreakable is not. And if this thing is not guarding some treasure, then nothing makes sense. I sit on the 8 cards I made from fallen goblins, and watch the level 4 pull my tower apart, frantically counting the tower's health, and my final math says it should still have at least half left when the monster drops, which means my cards survive. A level 3 unit card if I ever chose to sell it. Not a single lord alive would refuse, and in an expert's hands it would tip a battle, so as a life-saving item the price will have to satisfy me, and I am already grinning like a fool. By any honest accounting this is a crushing win, and I have somehow twisted it into a nail-biter. Then the mage hauls a magic book out of his robes again and my grin freezes, because a level 2 cannot crack its armor and it looks like my level 3 card is gone. -40, -7, and the tower bursts into pieces. But the tower's dying shot, falling as it shatters, just so happens to land the killing blow on the goblin mage himself, my level 3 card scraping through by a hair, an ending I never saw coming. So even perfect calculation can leave you flat on your back when reality decides otherwise. I turn the mage into a card and end the battle, and the rewards roll in. The system tells me I defeated the goblin mage troops and kept my crystal flawless, that I have completed the difficult achievement this is not hard at all, now at 2 of 10, and a second difficult achievement, enemies one after another, at 1 of 10, worth 2 more attribute points, urging me toward more achievements for more rewards. Then it asks whether I want to destroy or occupy the goblin island, and I hesitate for exactly 1 second before choosing destroy, because I still have a 30+ square meter plot waiting from the last fight, more than enough to fuss over for ages, and when resources cannot keep pace with building, raising my own strength is the smarter play. I have no use for a measly 8 square meters, and I cannot forget that abnormal level 4 mage was stuffed with treasures, because even one would mean I never sit a fight out as a spectator again. The system tells me I destroyed an island and obtained special combat equipment, a magic book of ice cone that I cannot carry, plus a special product upgrade card, 15 wood, 5,000 grams of military rations, 1,000 grams of glutinous rice, 2,000 grams of glutinous rice, 2,000 grams of glutinous rice, 2,000 grams of clear water, 3 cans of peach preserves, and 1 down comforter set, all waiting at the crystal platform. The 8 square meter island fades from solid to ghost, and breaks apart into points of light, and I finally understand why so many people would rather destroy an island than occupy it and stay cramped on 10 square meters. Because the haul is staggering, equipment and specialties and materials and food and daily goods. The whole spread. Then it asks me to destroy or occupy Jang Sam's island, and this time I choose occupy. The system tells me I occupied Lord Jang Sam's island, and my area jumped by 36 square meters to 72 total. Then I get 1 terrain reshaping chance, and that I obtained a sturdy wooden house, a heart of the floating island, a level 2 pikeman barracks, special equipment called the Eye of Oversight, and D-rank strategic equipment, worn out outerwear. My mouth falls open because I was told occupying yields nothing past a specialty, so occupying a human lord's island must work differently from a monster's. I cannot land on any other explanation, and the system keeps right on talking through my guessing, listing 6 specialties, a D3 sail tree, a D2 gold-producing stone, 1 bottle of D-rank high-proof liquor, a C-rank large stone pile, a bottle of D-rank instant noodles. Jang Sam's island had plenty of plain resources too, but I was too slow ending the battle and all of it without attributes vanished into thin air, while I fought the goblins, like a game refreshing the map. A human lord's island, it turns out, pays out like a treasure vault. This single win drags my strength up a whole tier, and before I can even examine the new gear the system chimes, asking whether to replace the duplicate barracks, since only 1 of each is allowed, and whether to merge the specialties that share attributes. I agree to both, and the barracks, sail tree, and goldstone all flare gold and upgrade at once. Level 2 units carry 2 more health, 2 more attack, 1 more defense than level 1's, a real jump to an expert and a shrug to a beginner like me. The sail tree leaps to D4, 14 kilometers an hour, 4 wood a day, and the goldstone hits D3, 3 stone a day, and so the rule lands clean. Only the highest of a matching barrack survives, while matching specialty treasures merge and grow faster. I will not touch the sail tree's output, because a functional specialty that grows on its own is better left alone, the description already warning that only once they mature do they hand you surprises. The mineral water is useless to me, so I keep it for trade, but the liquor and instant noodles I use, both together adding 20 prosperity. The liquor broadly useful and fairly rare, the noodles food, and nobody gives away food. What lights me up most is that unique C-rank specialty, a large stone pile that makes 100 stone every 5 days. Its description practically winking at me. Want stone? Give me a little time. With prosperity up 20. I had figured my water alone would put my development near the top, and this stone pile leaves me speechless. No wonder Jang Sam was a step ahead of me on a sturdy house, and if this pile had not fallen into my hands, he might have outgrown me entirely. Given enough time, I might not have beaten him at all. Going by his island's size and his stash of specialties, in under a day this man must have killed at least 2 people. 1 day in, and we are already eating each other. It might just be that everyone is new and let their guard down around other humans, but the truth is anyone's guess. What Jang Sam taught me is that monsters and weather are not my only threats. That out of all these people there have to be plenty who outclass me. And the thought lights a fire under me to develop fast. The sturdy wooden house I inherited has to come down first, because the system warns me dismantling it loses half the materials, and I confirm anyway. Since this place has rotten luck baked in, its owner dead inside a single day, and I would feel a chill living in a dead man's house. The heart of the floating island reads as a miniature crystal platform that lets me spend resources to build an attached island and appoint a hero or follower as its lord, and I file it away for later, since I will not be using it anytime soon. The worn-out outerwear gives +2 defense, and the note explains strategic equipment applies to all of the Lord's subordinates and troops just by sitting in inventory. No wearing required, which is a sweet little bonus. The Eye of Oversight is the real prize, an auxiliary piece that lets me see an enemy's whole arrangement and stats wherever my gaze lands. Much like my probe, but far better, because it does not wait for the enemy to close in. It reads them from across the fog, and scouting the whole field from a distance is exactly how precious it sounds. No attack or defense on it, but with it I never gamble blind on fight or flee again. Then I look over the mage's drops, starting with the Magic Book of Ice Cone, a rare item, non-handheld, that produces 1 ice cone scroll a day at 1 of 1, and cannot stockpile, its description smug as ever. Want to use magic? With me even a pig can cast. I watch that thing fire twice in a row in the monster's hands, and in mine it manages once a day with no saving up, which is just rubbing salt in the wound. But I claim the scroll anyway. The scroll deals 40 base damage to one enemy and freezes it for a minute on hit. So however the goblin pulled off 40 magic damage, the answer is plainly that he had no mana stat at all. And the book did all the work. And damage aside, that 1 minute freeze alone is enough to take an enemy ace off the board. Then I read the specialty upgrade card, high grade rare, able to turn an attributeless item into a specialty, or bump a specialty no higher than B rank up 1 level. And I genuinely smile because a water well is not treasure grade and could never upgrade normally. And this card showed up at the perfect moment. I do not bother counting the rest of my loot. I just slap the card straight onto the well, gold light washes over it, and now it reads as a D-rank specialty water well. Want a drink? I will pour it out forever. Let us see whether your stamina holds or my water does. Prosperity up 30. Unlimited water at last. And without that card, the well stays a capped ordinary thing, and nobody would ever sell a survival tide card like that. I have never even seen one for sale. With the stone pile and the upgraded well both mine, I have stepped into the spotlight, and I half wonder if I have a protagonist's halo after all. Now that I am sitting on stone and water both, my whole development has to swing hard into defense, and if anyone comes at me again, let us see if they can break through, because if I let myself get pushed around one more time, I might as well find a block of tofu and brain myself on it. I pull out the rest with a grin. 5,000 grams of military rations, 2,000 grams of clear water, 3 cans of peach preserves, a down bedding set, and the rations cannot convert into ordinary food, which suits me fine. To pile up this much in under a day, Jang Sam's contribution is the whole reason. The Lord's token says it is already dusk, an evening wind kicking up to make me shiver, 15 degrees telling me the gap between day and night will only widen once it is fully dark. Fight after fight has kept my nerves drawn tight, and the moment I let go, the exhaustion crashes over me. Body and mind both spent. Pushing through it, I haul 4 buckets of water, list them, and buy 2 cans of pork at a steep price for dinner, then glance at the regional channel and find nothing worth my time. The same empty complaints and gripes and harvest brags, so I close it. The channel still reads 1,000 people, which gives me something to chew on, because I will not learn the real count until tomorrow. It is time to cook the happiest stretch of my whole day. The sky blackens fast here, and by the time the pot is set and the rice is on, night has fully arrived, and as a survivor in another world, I can only bend to the place. While the rice cooked, I clean today's river fish, and after seeing to Lord Chicken first, I get to it. The dark on the island is total, so total that even the hen who hates fire by nature huddles up against my campfire with Lord Chicken right behind her, the fire the only light anywhere on my little square. The silence is the worst part. So deep I can hear my own heartbeat, the crackle of oil off the roasting fish landing like music, and if not for my 3 pets keeping me company, I think I would lose my mind before long. I cup the dog's head and kiss it, and thank him again for the 2 companions he brought me. And Rang Rang shoots up, tail beating so fast it blurs, because he knows it is hungry, and the wait has not been easy on him. I dish out 2 portions of rice, crack 2 cans, split them with him, then pick the small quick-cooked fish and shrimp, strip the big bones, and feed him those, in no hurry to eat myself, because a warm dinner in a place like this is enough for me. The last fish is a big one and takes its time, and by the time it is done, neither of us has the appetite left, because a fellow that size is best stewed in the iron pot with chili and Chinese cabbage, the only way to get the real flavor. But to eat vegetables here, I have to grow them, which means seeds and land. And I have the seeds, I still need the land. And with weather this unstable, the safest move is the best soil I can get. I know a girl who sells exactly that, even if her yield is low, because how many cabbages can 1 square meter feed? And the trouble is that better soil only comes from her. She is so poor that all she has left is black soil, probably cannot even feed herself, and this world is a meat grinder, so what happens to my black soil supply the day she dies? No, I have to help her, because on a night this cold, without a hot meal in her, how far does a person fall before they decide to quit? A cold wind cuts through, the night turning colder, and my mind keeps spitting out worse endings. What if she falls sick? Because even if she does not mean to hang herself, she will not be able to dodge it. Since I am already sending warmth, there is a spare secondhand quilt too, mine, used, but a girl that broke will hardly mind. Last I send over firewood and the leftover clean water from cooking, and once the delivery is gone I drag the crystal platform into the crude wooden house, light a small fire, pull out my down comforter, make a bed on the spot, and drop into a dead sleep. Son Yusin huddles against her crystal platform, trying to use it to block the wind, the dark swallowing her tiny shape so completely that without the faint glow of her lord's token her own territory could not find her. The token is her only comfort against the loneliness, and even though the talk inside it has thinned to almost nothing and her eyes burn, she does not dare set it down, because the silent night fills her with a bottomless fear. A silent night of hunger and cold crushes worst of all, and countless people face the dark alone tonight, but someone as flat broke as her is rare. Even at the bottom like this, the stubborn girl asks no one for help, and she keeps her fire unlit on purpose so the sail tree can move, because a moving island has a chance to meet monsters, and that meeting either ends her or proves she can live on strong. Then her token reports a friend trade from a man named Seo Hyuk, already confirmed, no message attached, waiting at the crystal platform. She freezes, wondering if the man suddenly grew a conscience, guessed her situation, and paid her some food in advance, and she goes to check it first. In an environment like this, getting a delivery, her mood is easy enough to imagine, and the instant she lifts what is inside she is hopping in place from the burn and refusing to let go anyway. Almost crying out loud, not from the heat but from sheer disbelief, because her benefactor sent food already cooked, a huge grilled fish. That saves her precious resources, though it hardly matters, she will tally his loss and pay him back out of the black soil's price. She mutters that she is no novice at life, that after gutting and cooking a live fish, how much can really be left? Plus the firewood it ate, and she is starving but eats slow, because focusing on the food miraculously lets her forget the loneliness in the dark. By the time the fish has gone cold in her hands, she has eaten maybe a quarter, nowhere near enough after a full day without food, but she forces herself to put it down, telling herself she will eat less, save the rest for morning, and then she blushes at her own excuse. Next, she means to trade the black soil straight over and tell him by her own math how much food to pay tomorrow. Except there is something else inside the delivery, and she sighs that she calculated for nothing and has to start over. So annoying. The token tells her she collected a lighter, 4 pieces of wood, a quilt, and that her clean water collection failed because she has no container large enough, and she gives up calculating entirely because she cannot repay any of it and needs all of it too badly to surrender a single piece. She cries, crying so happily, then wraps herself in a quilt that carries a man's scent, so warm, and on some impulse she peeks down at her own chest, closes the quilt fast, deflates a little at how uncooperative it is, then decides it does not matter because she is still young and there is room to grow. Broad daylight wakes me, Lord Chicken barely crowing for once, and out of pure habit I reach for my phone first, except there is no phone now, only the Lord's token standing in for it. New World, Day 2, 8 in the morning, daytime high 26 degrees, air cool and pleasant, nighttime low 12 degrees, mind the cold, and right in the center, where I cannot miss it, sits a red warning. I tap it and read that extreme weather is coming, hot days and cold nights, assessed as simple level for now, with instructions to stock more living supplies, build the Lord's wooden house fast, keep my troops fed, raise defense towers against monster raids, and watch the hot cold swing to avoid getting sick. A few choice curses float through my head, because this is the simple level, and normal hot cold shifts already make people ill, so an extreme one is coming, and how many children and elderly survive that? I have barely finished grumbling when I read to the end and go quiet, because it offers a choice. drift with the monsoon to a warm new region and challenge stronger monsters there for more treasure and goods, or stop the sail tree and ride out the extreme weather where I am for a tougher body and various resistances. The longer I survive, the higher they climb. The whole ordeal paying out attribute points, choices with rewards, that makes perfect sense. At the start, everyone has the same attribute points, and I am no richer than the next person. Some lords with a whole territory starting ahead of me, and I am still a beginner, so what right have I to envy anyone? Attribute points fundamentally remake a person's body. They are brutally hard to come by. The ways to earn them few, and the achievement rewards tempting, but all bought by fighting to the death. And the note adds that equipment attributes only work in combat, while survival itself needs my own points. So I am giving this survival wave everything. Resistance is no weaker than attribute points anyway, working for both survival and combat. And my logic is simple. If I cannot even claim the rewards from the beginner village, how am I supposed to challenge anything bigger? Plenty of time left, so I prep for the extreme weather, and once the plan is set, I do not dither, because that is my second strength, decisiveness. I open the regional channel and find the count drop from 1,000 to 954. So I was right. The data refreshed, and that many people died in a single day, and that is with the beginner shield still up. Bolder guess, beyond the ones monsters killed, the share murdered by other humans cannot be small, because Jang Sam alone killed several people in a day before he ran into me, which means this region is not large, and if not for the fog I might even see other survivors in plain sight. But the islands crawl and the fog hangs thick, so it feels like I am the last man alive. All guesses, of course. With so many dying it will hurt my resource gathering, and I cannot save anybody, but I can at least drop a warning, because most people have caught on that speech is rationed in the channel and stopped wasting their chances, falling silent on anything that does not help them. The chatty ones, the helpful ones, long since formed their own friend channels where there is no speaking limit. Their sanctuary for talk and prices, and troop tactics. And somehow I am the one man with no circle of his own. But my name as the water big boss is everywhere. Too many people have actually benefited from me, so plenty have saved me as the regional big boss, and a big boss gets his messages pinned, so an extra alert is not much to ask. I tell them bluntly that those missing faces in the region are not all the work of monsters, that yesterday some idiot tried to mess with me and I scattered his ashes, and then I leave. Nobody doubts me, the message landing like a thunderclap, because somebody floated the same idea before and got shouted down by trolls, but when the big boss says it, it is different. As it happens, every island carries coordinates, and after swapping locations people really can find each other, and some who hit it off were already arranging to meet up, never expecting the big boss to drop a bomb first thing in the morning. The replies pour in. One man stunned that someone insisted on his location, another scared off a girl who wanted to meet who might have been a honey trap, a third snapping that a big boss with this many resources never fears for food or drink, so even if he shares nothing there is no need to kill. With someone else calling that man an idiot confirmed. Then a man named Wang Mang cuts in to say he warned them all before the big boss ever spoke, and they would not believe him. That of course he knew the same as the big boss, that if someone schemes against him, he is not about to let them live, and that he was not fierce before but turned fierce the moment he took that scoundrel's assets. The channel buzzes to add him as a friend for the details. I check the trade channel and find my water has not sold out, which surprises me, but I list 4 more barrels anyway, because a conscientious merchant never runs dry. Probably people see water is always there and feel no rush to hoard, which is fine since I am in this for the long haul. And if I cannot trade for building materials, I will trade for daily goods. Find salt, toothbrushes, toothpaste, grab them if I can, and lose nothing if I cannot. Survival just began, and most people stocked up before coming over. And there is another reason, system prompts, because food has all but vanished from the trade channel, and what little appears is obscenely priced. And building materials are thinning too, wood for fire and stone for houses, plainly a lot of people bracing to tough out the extreme weather. I really have to thank myself for upgrading the well last night, which let me pull in another wave of materials, because with the current market the situation would have gotten ugly. The conditions for the sturdy wooden house are already met, so there is nothing to weigh, a flash of gold and it is done. And I sigh that this is a real home that shelters a man from wind and rain. The system tells me I spent 100 wood and 100 stone upgrading the crude hut to a sturdy wooden house, 15 square meters, able to hold off hail, heat, severe cold, and the rest, cutting my sickness odds, 10 points of air defense, 150 building health, and a trait that clears the fog in a 20 square meter ring, prosperity up 30. As it settles, the fog peels back from a 10-meter radius to 20, and at the survivor's island speed that already buys me the time to accelerate and run. The sturdy house is twice the hut in every measure, but I know that without a stone house surviving the extreme weather will not come easy. I am sitting on 121 wood and 32 stone. The stone untouchable now since I have no troops and need a reserve, and I will not be shy about the barracks free daily soldier. And in about 4 more days the stone pile fires up, and then I plan to throw up several more archer defense towers, because for a beginner at troops, towers are the whole pillar. The token chimes a trade from my friend Song Yusin, Confirmed, no message, waiting at the platform, and I chuckle, not expecting the girl to be this impatient, probably rushing me to pay up. Fair enough, that poor girl may be counting on this deal to turn her luck, because without military rations, soldiers will not fight, and rations can be swapped for food, and clearly someone who has never fought and cannot even feed herself has nothing to feed troops either. I plan to give her plenty of food and send some military rations on top, since rations only matter to troop types and I am not short on them while the poor girl has not started fighting and needs them, and I admit that for a little black soil I have sunk a real fortune. Everything else is easy, but food is the one thing that gnaws at nearly everyone, and it strikes me that on this road there is no avoiding solving the food problem myself, or I would not be fussing this hard over one girl. When I see she traded the black soil over with no message attached, I am stunned, because are there really people like this in the world, everyone else terrified of coming up short, and a girl this poor just hands it over? Was she moved or is she gambling on my character? And let me think whether I even have one of those. When I prep the food and start the trade, she refuses it flat, no matter what, and the iron in her is not an act. So in the end I tell her I cannot cook, and ask her to cook for me for a fee, the pay being meals, a clean win for us both. She promises that as long as I feed her, every future black soil yield comes to me free, which wins me over completely, because this girl is worth cultivating. An extra mouse strains my food a little, but only for now, and she is putting in both labor and materials, so it is hardly freeloading, and the trade channel does sell food if you push the price. And with water in hand, I do not fear a high price. With the black soil, crops can grow inside the wooden house, and with chili and Chinese cabbage my food pressure eases, and best of all, fresh vegetables will only get rarer. In the wooden house, I am turning the ice cone scroll over in my hands, waiting on Song Yusin's delivery, because not having to cook feels unreasonably good. Then the token sounds, and Gina, who has never said a word in the friend channel, tells me that if Wang Pyo wants to give me something, I had better think hard about whether I can actually handle it. Since it is cryptic nonsense, I do not bother replying, because however pretty a woman is, she is not mine, and the little one I am raising up does not look a hair worse anyway. But right as I am on the toilet, Wang Pyo's message lands, asking whether I am there. The greeting I hate most, because whether I am there depends entirely on what he wants. Here for a free meal, gone for a favor. And I just tell him to speak. He says to let him show me something, that if I have the strength to take it, he will give it to me. Call it helping a brother out, and sends a screenshot. It is an ancient one-handed staff, half a man tall, and where a gem should sit there is a stone shaped like an eye, and its name rings out, Goblin's Glory. The description calls it a super rare territory type treasure, the goblin race's ultimate prize, the source of their famous vision, so that whoever takes it draws the goblin's frenzied assault, because racial glory cannot be defiled, cannot be lost, cannot be damaged, and it notes the thing officially activates in 9 hours and change, so prepare to defend it once, with its actual function locked and hidden. The thing baffles me, because a racial ultimate treasure is their dearest possession, so what does it mean that Wang Pyo can just hand it over? Did he kill the Goblin King in under 2 days? Is he even human? I am so rattled by my own guessing that I walk out of the toilet in a daze, pants on but unsure whether I wiped, and I blurt out that if he has already killed the Goblin King, why fear payback from ordinary goblins? He fires back instantly, telling me not to tease him, that the thing is a trap, bait the goblins throughout so whoever takes it gets hooked, that he only got it by sacrificing his whole fortune to take down a full level 3 goblin squad. And his explanation settles me, because I do not like seeing my brother weak and I do not like seeing him too far above me either. Thinking it over, what he says holds up against the survivor's current strength, and maybe afraid I will refuse, he sends another message, that he is not tricking me, that I have been collecting building materials so my territory is large and I am playing defense, and as long as I build more defense towers, small goblin groups cannot reach me, and a tough one I can always run from, and battle will only make me stronger, while he is on the combat route and suffering from a cramped island with nowhere to put towers. I am tempted, because getting strong needs resources, and resources need killing monsters. But his beginner-fooling talk runs thick too. Small groups are easy, sure, but how do I judge the ones I cannot beat? And by the time I judge clearly, will it be too late to run? And if I really got stronger through battle, would I be handing out bargains? What he could never guess is that I have the Eye of Oversight, which reads enemy strength in advance. And even so, I would never risk my neck for a thing whose use I do not even know, so I deflect, telling him my towers are static and my troops too weak, that I cannot stop them. But that only makes him misread me, because since I did not refuse outright, he figures I still have confidence, and only a troop strength problem which he can solve. And besides, knowing I have a favor coming, if he does not fleece the fat sheep walking up to his door, he would have to wonder if he is even human. So to be rid of the trouble fast, shedding a little blood is only right. He tells me to look at this, and sends another screenshot. A level 2 skeleton soldier barracks. Rare, free recruitment scaled to my leadership value. No resource recruitment, the troops undead and needing no upkeep. Fearless and immune to intimidation. with a 20% chance to shrug off attacks from archer towers and archers. My heart pounds, because this thing is a gift from heaven for me, since skeleton soldiers run a notch below same-rank troops, only a touch above level 1s, but what others write off as trash is treasure to me. Paired with my card skill, it is a proper Sea of Troops war, and no troop control genius can paper over a numbers gap. These experts are abnormal at treasure hunting, and one cannot possibly have only this much good stuff. So even though I have already said yes in my heart, I squeeze him, telling him the item is average, but its traits are not bad, and it could serve as a substitute, except just this is not worth the risk. Because am I doing this for your stuff? This is to save you. Even braced to be fleeced, Wang Pio cannot keep his temper at the outrageous ask, and after some haggling he caves, throwing in a pair of +2 defense strategic pants and 50 each of stone and wood, supposedly to help me field a full roster, the material squeezed out of his mutual aid alliance members, while his own soldiers go unaccounted for. The trick to raising leadership value was hidden by the system, but Wang Pio already found it, so simple he does not even count it a secret, and the whole alliance knows, holding it back only to develop a step ahead of everyone else, so naturally he assumes a big boss knows it too, which means I cannot possibly be ignorant of how valuable the skeleton barracks is. His profession is Pikmin Captain, granting pikemen extra attack, defense, and attack speed, his lifeline, so a skeleton barracks does him little good right now, or he would never have let it go so cheap. He has already paid a steep price and I am still not satisfied, and from this moment he labels me greedy in his head, but having played games like this he feels he cannot resist, afraid I will not take the deal. So he tells himself fine, that no survivor alive can withstand the goblin's mad assault, that since I covet his treasure I must be ready to die, and if I cannot hold it and die then I deserve it, because his benefits were never meant to be easy to take, and when I run into a level 4 armored goblin, that is when the whole village throws a funeral feast. The thought of one level 4 armored goblin nearly wiping his own team makes him shiver, and he is still fuming that if this item had shown up a few days later he would never have given it up, that even if I do not die, if I dare take advantage of him I had better watch out, because killing people is always easier than killing monsters, conveniently forgetting that this whole mess is his doing. With the death warrant out of his hands, Wang Pio breathes easier, the pressure gone, sure that with his abilities starting over is no hardship, because the one thing choking his development all along is that he meets monsters too rarely to kill enough, and now that he has shipped off his bad luck, good luck should finally arrive. As if to confirm it, the system tells him he has discovered the Godfall Island chain, and swallowing his wild joy he drops a tip in the Alliance channel, that brothers short on water should swap resources for clean water now, because if nothing goes wrong they will not buy water this cheap. In a few days, internal information, not for outsiders. The Women's Legion leader Gina posts the exact same line to her sisters, and over on the regional channel a man named Co Ire spins it. Latest news, the district's water big shot looks to be in trouble, so anyone wanting to stock up had better hurry, and the channel erupts, one man already short on water wailing about how he will live. Another miserable about lacking both food and water. A third noting food prices have already doubled and the water situation will not be much better if the big shot is gone. Song Yusin asks me what is wrong on my side, since the whole region is talking about me, and I think, look at you, little thing, actually worried about your brother, and I tell her that as my sweetheart she is the one who should be telling me what is happening, not asking. I meant to tease the girl, but she just replies that she understands and goes silent, so never mind, let her play on her own, she gets sulky with nothing to do anyway. The matter is simple, and I guess it 90% right, because I just closed the deal with Wang Pio and my water sold out instantly. Nothing more than that man figuring I will not survive, and his subordinates are all lords with friends, one telling 10, 10 telling 100. After dinner, the token reports my listing sold out, so I restock and list again. Sold out, restock a third time, and finally the water stops selling. Everyone in our region is such a good person, I think. They know I am in trouble and support me to the death, so I will live well and not let my brothers down. With these waves of resources in hand, I am completely at ease, so I throw up 5 more defense towers and ring my house with all 6 arrow towers, and if not for the space I would have built far more. I hold off upgrading to level 2 towers, since they only add 2 damage for double the resources, more than I can swallow yet, and instead I recruit 14 level 2 skeleton soldiers and card them all, then recruit 10 more level 2 skeleton soldiers and card them all, then recruit 10 more level 2 soldiers. Seeing a heap of wood left, twice the stone, there is no reason to keep skipping the wooden wall I have been too stingy to build. A level 1 wooden wall, a defensive piece, half a square meter, 2 wood, 50 health. I spend 150 wood on 75 walls in one stroke, just enough to fence in the towers and the little house. And low defense or not, they soak 1 wave of attacks, and 1 more wave can turn a battle. I now hold 1 level 4 mage goblin card, 3 level 3 and 5 level 2 goblin cards, the 10 level 2 skeleton soldiers, both pets, 10 level 2 pikemen, 6 arrow towers, 1 ice cone scroll, and 2+2 defense strategic pieces. And with combat power like that, who compares to me? With the must-haves done, I have 151 wood and 98 stone left, and upgrading to a stone house wants 200 each, 20 square meters, with far more practical traits and functions. Land and materials both fall short, but as Wang Pio said, once monsters attack, I only grow stronger each fight, so the space shortage sorts itself out, and my profession is the guarantee of endless combat stamina. The reason I stopped spending materials is partly to recruit in a hurry if my force is thin, and partly to stockpile toward the stone house early, because I covet its vision range, my true lifeline. I figure all that is left is to wait out the siege once the goblin's racial treasure activates, but the system sounds off, warning that an unknown force has appeared in the southeast within my line of sight, so prepare to respond. Looking that way, I see an island, only a corner of it, looking like it means to slide right past me, and I throw the eye of oversight on it and read a monster island named Minotaur. The specifics still hidden because it sits beyond my full view. What are monsters? Monsters are equipment and resources. I was just worried I could not stop the goblin attack, so how do I let gear drift past my nose? And I swing the sail tree and give chase. The opponent is slow, and my D4 tree gradually pulls it into view. And while I still cannot see the whole island, the eye lays its combat power bare, and I am thrilled and uneasy at once. What thrills me is that the Minotaur Island runs 50 square meters and actually holds a level 4 barracks, and the loot from destroying a big island is nothing like a small one. What unsettles me is the 6 level 4 soldiers on it. Minotaur guards rare, level 4 health 70, attack 12, defense 4, magic defense 1, with fearless charge and heavy blow, where a target hit by the charge takes double damage from a following heavy blow. And after a skill they suffer a 10-second weakness with attributes halved, plus a weak sight trait and a racial hatred for goblins. The little greenskins must die. Same level 4 as goblins, but far stronger in every number, and since the barracks is a visible building, its drop odds are high. With this many people in the region, not one met a Minotaur. Their absurd stats marking their rarity, miss this village and you will not find this shop. So even if it costs me everything, I am taking the gamble. The system tells me I cast acceleration and launched an active attack on the Minotaur Island, and that I cannot retreat to my territory before the battle ends. And I ignore the warning, because against something stronger than me, a beginner cannot afford a single slip. With a wave, I drop 10 white skeleton soldier cards in front of my pikemen, set a level 4 goblin mage and 3 level 3 goblins to the left, 5 level 2 goblins to the right, and with my attribute buffs, these units stand no weaker than normal level 3s. Their defense even 3 points over the Minotaur, which is exactly where my confidence comes from. The 2 pets hang at the edge of the field, ready to strike on an opening, mostly because I fear them dying, because the rule is either do not fight or go all out and spam units. The beginner's whole doctrine. Normally Minotaurs take a moment to fire their skills, but the instant my goblins appear, all 6 unleash at once, every skill landing on the goblins as if goblins come preloaded with a taunt, the 6 lowering their heads and splitting left and right into fearless charge, the goblins they hit flashing -9, -9, and amid the screams they get shoved together and the Minotaurs follow with heavy blow, -36. My level 2 goblins erased in a single wave. My legs go weak, because the Minotaur's 12, minus the goblin's defense, lands 9. The doubled heavy blow makes 18, and on a target softened by fearless charge, it doubles again to 36. A full skill set ripping away 45 health. The mage's side fares a bit better. One of the 3 chargers stuck frozen on its charge path. My level 3 surviving the hit thanks to my buffs, and seizing the Minotaur's post-skill weakness, it is time for my units to pour on damage. 3 skeleton soldiers ring each Minotaur on the inside with pikemen on the outer edge. Small steady damage trickling, -2, -3. And do not misunderstand, this slick positioning is purely the units arranging themselves, because how would a beginner manage such high-level play? But you cannot deny I have the numbers. The pikemen reaching without closing in while the skeletons fill every gap. Going by Minotaur health, I know I cannot drop them inside 10 seconds, but here the rooster's aerial advantage shines. The weakened Minotaur's letting it max out its defense-ignoring talent, practically standing on one and pecking non-stop. Fast speed meaning fast hits. -8, -8, -16, and combined with the units they gang 1 down. The level 4 goblin mage, weaker than a Minotaur on paper, but lifted hard by my command, sheds its caster act, grabs the staff at its waist, shatters the ice in 2 seconds, and handles another, then works with the level 3s to kill a third. Once the weakness window closes, my units stop breaking the Minotaur's defense. Every hit forced down to -1, my low health level 3s falling one after another, their skeletons scattering across the ground, while the mage and its Minotaur trade evenly, the weakened beast bleeding enough that the mage holds the edge. I do not get involved, eyes locked on my own side. Fist clenched around the ice cone scroll just in case a minotaur lunges at me or a pet. My only means of self-preservation, and the choice proves right, because one pauses, lowers its head, and aims straight at the rooster, who cannot survive the combo, and would be killed on the spot. After the ice cone, a minotaur freezes mid-charge, and a failed skill triggers its own weakness, so there is nothing to say but gang up on it. Another lowers its head, and I rush Rangrang's drag and Tearbite, that innate skill working miracles on a unit mid-cast. The interrupted minotaur dropping into weakness. No threat now, dead seconds later, and the two bitter racial enemies finish each other off. Only then does it hit me that the kill happened not far from my territory, so why was there no support for my defense towers? And checking the system fills me with dread, because the whole reason I dared fight this hard was leaning on those few towers, and now I understand the difference between launching an active attack and being attacked. The towers do not follow me out. Lucky for me, I won anyway. 4 pikemen still in hand, and as I card the last Minotaur guard, the system asks me to destroy or occupy the new territory, and I gripe that I cannot have it both ways, because I covet a 50 square meter island, but I have not forgotten why I came, so I painfully choose destroy. The system congratulates me on a victorious proactive attack and grants 1 leadership point plus a 3rd difficult achievement. This is not hard either. 3 of 10, the kind you only get when the enemy is at least a level above you, and it tells me I destroyed the Minotaur Island and obtained 1 level 4 Minotaur barracks. 15 stone, 1,500 grams of military rations, 600 grams of flour, 200 grams of clear water, and a ceramic bathtub the island about to dissipate, so return home fast. I spent all my savings but harvested what I wanted and figured out where leadership points come from, and even though the resources ran thin with no specialty cards or equipment, this wave was no loss. Back home, I hurry into the wooden house to check the new gear, caring nothing for the meager resources, only the bathtub decent and useful in the extreme heat, my whole mind fixed on the barracks. The Minotaur barracks reads rare, level 4. 2 square meters, recruiting level 4 Minotaur guards for 15 wood, 15 stone, 500 grams of military rations and 500 of clear water, with 1 free guard a day, and just this rare barracks alone, even with nothing else good, is a massive profit. I already know the guard's vicious stats, and the thought of actually fielding one has me unable to hide my excitement, because while everyone else generally runs level 1 or 2 troops, I can recruit level 4 rares. The gap's simply enormous. Even a control beginner, planted in the right spot, can still soar. Recruiting is not urgent though, because I have been hoarding my divine power all this time, for exactly this moment, since while others spend theirs upgrading ordinary level 2 barracks. Why should I not upgrade a rare level 4? And if not now, then when? The system asks whether I am sure I want to spend divine power upgrading the level 4 Minotaur barracks. Warning, each item gets only 1 such chance, so items can only be divine upgraded once, but a rare barracks is hard enough to come by, let alone a level 4. And I confirm. Gold light washes over it and I check again. A Minotaur Advanced Barracks, rare, level 5. 2 square meters, recruiting level 5 armored Minotaur warriors for 20 wood, 20 stone, 500 grams of rations, and 500 of water. 1 free warrior a day, and I recruit on the spot. The system tells me an armored Minotaur warrior has joined my forces. A level 5 rare troop, health 100, attack 15, defense 8, magic defense 5, with a weak vision trait, a thick-skinned talent that doubles recovery speed, and skills, fearless charge for double damage and knockback, heavy blow for double damage with silence and spell interruption. The stacking rule intact, so a target hit by charge takes double stack damage from a following heavy blow, with the same 10-second halved weakness after using skills. Level 5 runs far higher than level 4 across the board and even unlocks talent attributes, defense and magic defense, each climbing a full 4 points. The skills strengthen too while the 10-second weakness holds, and these are just base numbers, because Fold and my Lord buffs and its combat power skyrockets. I just want to ask, who else is there? The security, a level 5 armored Minotaur warrior, gives me blows past anything the defense towers ever did. My mood like lying in bed with the air conditioner running in the dead of summer. Gloriously comfortable. But the recruitment cost wipes the smile away, and with Goblin's glory still counting down, urgency creeps back. Because when the time comes, the goblins gang up on me, so recruiting troops is unavoidable. And with the advanced barracks level 2s hold no appeal. Resources choke me hard though, because after all this time I have pulled only 7 stone, exactly 120 with my reserve, and gritting my teeth I blow everything on 6 level 5 troops, so counting the free one I now field 7 armored Minotaur warriors and 4 level 2 pikemen. The monsters have not arrived and I have done all I can to prepare, so with nothing to do I open the regional channel, hoping for something useful, and after some lurking I do find it, what amounts to the survivors griping, the most replied message asking whether anyone noticed today's monster drops, or at least 2/3 less than yesterday's. Someone confirms it, says their friend group already concluded that aside from the first kill always paying enormously, every kill after gives less and less. Another moaning that everything is fine but the food is too scarce. How do they survive the extreme weather that they miss their mom's little farmhouse yard? Then a man named Shim Y posts a reply I find useful, that there is another way to raise resource rewards, that the fewer soldiers you lose in a winning battle, the more you earn, though never as much as the first time, his group's read being some kind of combat rating reward mechanism. I figured the original poster was just unlucky like me, but after these replies I go quiet, because these two posts nearly outrun the original in popularity, and the consistent agreement means it is very likely true. So this is hugely helpful, the wisdom of the crowd bottomless. Since I benefit from everyone, I should give something back. So I straight out publicize how to get leadership points and the downside of proactive attacks. And the moment I speak, the message reaches a flood of people, another wave of thanks rolling in. One man crowing that the big boss is handing out benefits again. Another that the news is too important. A third thanking me for my selflessness even though it is useless to him. A fourth asking whether I take subordinates. Wang Pio gets my message too, and quietly curses me for an idiot, because he knows that once the information is public, there is no point keeping it secret. So to draw eyes or recruit more alliance members, he replies to me that the news is true, that his alliance already tested it yesterday. Wang Pio had meant to show off, to prove he caught the news ahead of the other heavy hitters, but instead the channel turns on him in a chorus. CO Ire swings first, asking whether certain people would have hoarded the secret forever if the big players had not gone public. And now that it is out, they run around reminding everyone they exist. Do they take the rest of us for fools? Someone marvels that two men can both be heavy hitters with characters this far apart. Then Wang Meng asks whether Wang Pio is harvesting the leaks inside his own alliance, and means to harvest the rest of us next, and the dig makes Wang Pio go nervous in a hurry, snapping that people should stop slandering his name, his members supply materials, and he forges their weapons. How is that harvesting leaks? Wang Meng scoffs that he charges a fortune for a single piece of personal gear and still calls himself fair. Wang Pio shouts back at him to mind his own ignorance, and bicker as they might, the plain fact stands that he can make equipment, and even if it is only personal gear, people genuinely need it because the weapons monsters drop are scarce. The tragedy of a leak is standing there grown tall and wailing that nobody has come to harvest you. So his bandwagon jumping lands its goal after all. Out at my place, dusk settles, and what was coming has come. I took over the goblins' glory, and the countdown to their fury is down to its last 2 minutes. I sit outside the wooden house turning the staff's description over again, the part calling it a super rare territory type treasure, the goblins' racial treasure, that whoever takes it draws their frenzied assault because their racial glory must not be desecrated. The item activating the instant the timer reads 0. The next moment the dim broken staff tears free of my hand and lifts on a burst of brilliant light, and after better than 10 seconds it sinks slowly onto the highest peak of the wooden house, as if always destined to stand there. The light eases off, going soft instead of blinding, lighting the whole territory. I curse, because if this thing stays lit all the time with the goblin's sharp eyes, it is the same as posting a sign that the treasure is right here. Then I add, more quietly, that if it can also shine in the dead of night, I suppose I could live with it. With the staff and the house joined, its true attributes surface. The system names it the Goblin's Glory, a super rare territory treasure. Its first effect is Beacon of the Night, 0 out of 10, and I must withstand at least 10 attacks before I earn the right to switch it off. More abilities promised after I upgrade it. Its second is Extreme Vision, and as long as it sits inside the territory, every successful defense dispels 1 meter of the fog over my sight. The treasure does not add a single point of combat power, but those 2 effects are worth fighting for, and every worry I had a breath ago evaporates. I laugh and tell the monsters to come harder. At this hour the dark falls fast, and without light my eye of oversight goes blind. As if it heard the dare, the floating island lurches under me, and the system warns that I have run into an enemy attack and must muster my troops and protect my crystal with my life. The monsters land, and the instant they touch down my eye of oversight earns its keep, laying every attribute out at a glance. So soon, I think, these have to be the nearest monster islands dragged in by the light, level 1 soldiers, which makes this less an attack than a reward delivery. The fight is over before I bother standing up. The system says I perfectly defended the attack, and to choose, destroy, or occupy, logging my perfect battle at 1 out of 10. The method being to win without taking a scratch. The reward 1 free attribute point, the achievement triggering only once and failing on any interruption. My Beacon of the Night ticks to 1 out of 10. Extreme Vision burns 1 meter of fog away. I occupy and my island swells by 8 square meters. 8 level 1 soldiers, and I won without rising from my seat. The enemy's island is an empty 8 square meter scrap with nothing on it. Too small and too weak to bother smashing. So I keep expanding, and occupying it hands me not one specialty. Tonight will not be peaceful, and tomorrow may be wilder, so I'd better steal some sleep first. Before bed I card my 4 level 2 soldiers so they cannot die mid-fight, and break my perfect battle. It stings that this clashes with my hard mode defense achievement, but I cannot chase both. So I pick the 1 and leave the rest to the defense tower and my 7 level 5 soldiers. I tell Rang Rang and the Lord Chicken to keep watch, to wake me if the soldiers cannot hold, and on no account to jump into combat while I sleep. Rang Rang barks, The rooster crows, and there is actually a response, which startles and delights me both. Thinking back on how disciplined they were in the last fight, their intelligence was plainly no small thing, and I was careless to miss it. Even foolish enough to guess their combat selves and everyday selves ran on different settings, when even I act like a different man in a fight than I do on a normal day. But intelligence this high I never saw coming. There is a long road ahead, and we will come to know each other slowly. With the two of them on watch I rest easy, because if I cannot sleep soundly with this much strength behind me, I have no business hoping to see tomorrow's sun. That night my territory weathers 3 more waves while I sleep through every one. My only grievance the lack of a comfortable bed. Day 3 in the new world, 7 in the morning. The system reads a daytime high near 28 degrees. Muggy, air excellent. A nighttime low of 10, a reminder to keep warm. The rest unchanged. The regional channel shows 933 people, and the count sits heavy on me. Yesterday's death toll seems small, but this is one little patch of 1,000 souls. And scaled across the whole world it is too terrible to hold in my head. And that does not even count the ones who never met a monster, because not everyone can hold an island. And once the novice shield drops after today, the dying will surely spike. I know few people. As far as I can tell, Song Yusin has not crossed a single monster island yet, so she has gained nothing, while I sit here sweating over too many monsters coming for me. Some die of thirst, others drown. Every day someone in the channel is complaining or showing off, and countless others pile on with their own luck or misery, but I never join in. A survivor barely scraping by, so what business have I helping anyone? My water price has not budged, and not gouging people in a time like this is testament enough to my conscience. I eat the takeout Song Yusin cooked while I read last night's combat log, because skipping the fighting does not mean ignoring the news. I slept restless and woke wrung out, since how does a man rest easy knowing monsters are coming? Yet I could not pull myself awake either, a strange feeling. 3 waves of low-level monsters came, and with my level 5 soldiers in the defense tower it was a flawless win. Not one level 3 among them, nothing to mourn. My flawless battle stands at 4 out of 10. Beacon of the Night at 4. Extreme Vision has eaten 4 more meters of fog, and the default Occupy added 24 square meters, putting my territory at 104. I tell the staff aloud that the Staff of Glory is a downright divine artifact, and if Wang Pyo knew, would he not regret it to death? Though what is there to regret? Since if I had not taken it off his hands, how many waves could he have weathered? Only his big territory, his stack of defense towers, and his strong troop types kept the monsters off him, and anyone else would have buckled. The conscription cost alone enough to kill a man. I have no way of knowing, my guess is nearly dead on the mark. In all I held off 4 waves this round, and even occupying every island gave me a single specialty. A thing I can take or leave, a strawberry plant of all things, though its rating runs as high as C rank. The strawberry is nothing magical, just a living specialty, and the trait of living specialties is that you can cultivate them, since they breed and multiply. I never let food go to waste, and it is a treasure with attributes, so I plant it grudgingly in a corner of the black soil, careful to keep it from crowding the cabbage. The C-rank treasure strawberry puts out 10 plump berries a day, and can grow, its description promising that if I let it keep evolving it will hand me satisfying results. And it adds 10 to territory prosperity. I tell it that eating its results will not fill my belly, no match for cabbage. But the plumpness is no lie, each berry nearly the size of an egg. A new day means harvesting specialties again, the happiest stretch of my day, and there probably are not many people collecting until their hands ache the way I do. Even so, my haul holds its own against anyone's, yet my food is still barely getting by. So I start with the troop types, carting all 11 free skeleton soldiers from the skeleton barracks and the 1 pickman, then recruiting 1 armored minotaur warrior. I am holding 11 level 2 skeletons, 5 level 2 pikemen, and 6 level 4 minotaur guards, 22 cards in all, and my standing force is 8 level 5 rare soldiers plus a single ice cone scroll that will not stack. Nobody would believe this strength, and of course I will not show my real hand, since far too many people cannot stand to watch another man do well. Staring at the scroll, a thought hits me, that since these are all items, why not card it too, and then what reason would it have not to stack? The thing is too useful, and the more I bank the steadier I feel. I try it, it works easily, and I laugh and call myself a genius. As they say, if your troop control is bad, make up for it with items. I have rations enough, most of the ordinary food eaten, the 2 eggs the hen laid set aside no matter how I crave them. My food specialties are mostly freshwater fish, the instant noodles and strawberries hardly worth a mention. My one real edge being I never fret over water. The stone pile has not cooled down, and the oversized roll of paper would last 2 years. Turns out I am dirt poor. Can I take back the bragging just now? Because riding out extreme weather on these stocks is a pipe dream. It seems I still have to kill more monsters, and stronger ones, to find a way through. My thinking is proven right again. The system warns that 2 floating islands are closing, 23 meters out. See, that is the gift of a wide island view. It buys a man time to react. 2 waves at once, I yelp. My first instinct to bolt, but once I run my eye of oversight over them I ease back down. Both islands are 10 square meters, one carrying 10 level 2 goblins, the other 9, 5 level 2 and 4 level 3. Unlike before, that second island is not empty. It holds a few saplings, and since they are not a building, they have to be a specialty. Sure enough, the stronger the monster, the better the loot. With victory in hand, the heirs of a master settle over the noob, and I turn suddenly wise, saying calmly that I told you there is no monster in the beginner village I cannot beat. Bring it on. It is perfect for my achievements. Such brazen talk, as if the man who wanted to run a breath ago were somebody else. High-level soldiers cutting down low-level ones are already brutal, and with the Lord's attributes stacked on, the armored Minotaur warrior's health climbs to a terrifying 130, its own 8 defense lifted to 13. Level 2 goblin attacks cannot even crack his guard, a whole crowd of attack ineffective floating over his head, and while level 3 goblins do a little better, it is still pinpricks of -1, -2. Off on her own island, Song Yusin meets monsters, 14 square meters with 7 level 2 and 3 level 3 goblins leading the charge. Genuinely rough for a newcomer's first time, so the girl is a bundle of nerves. She had not wasted her channel hours picking up a little troop control, positioning, filling gaps, movement, things she grasps in theory but has never run in a fight. She heard the stronger your first monster and the more perfect the battle, the higher the reward. And to stand on her own, she had even upgraded her barracks with divine power, believing she can win, though perfection feels a reach. But that does not matter, because her not pulling it off does not mean a heavy hitter cannot. And as for heavy hitters, her sister happens to know one. A little guidance with a brain that is not slow, and surely she locks down this opening windfall. She fires off a screenshot, calling me bro, big shot. First time meeting monsters, show her the ropes. I tell her to get to it, that with a 72-33 start she is lucky, and even with a few level 3 goblins, with her lord's attributes on level 2 soldiers, the win should not be hard. Song Yusin is about steaming, because so what if I am a heavy hitter? Does that mean I get to mess with her? And she thinks it and says it, that she asked me to teach troop control, not to play games. Learn troop control from me, I think. Stunned, because the problem is, could she even use my methods? My troop control is the soldiers handling their own footwork while I only call the charge and the retreat, and the battle is done. Techniques high-end enough to have real experts scratching their heads. The truth is, troop control is a trifle against raw power, since I win by crushing, not technique, so her wanting to learn it is just an excuse to grab a perfect victory, and I see right through it. The system says my friend has sent a confirmed trade request, with a note that I do not have what she wants to learn but have already handed her the result she was after, to collect it at the crystal platform. That lights her curiosity right up, and she hurries to collect. 2 playing cards, she wonders, and checks the info. A level 4 Minotaur guard to fight for her, costing no leadership, the summoning a level 4 Minotaur guard to fight for her, costing no leadership, the summon enjoying her lord's bonuses. She rubs her eyes, unable to believe it, and after a long moment sighs that a heavy hitter is a heavy hitter. An item this strong, one would have been plenty, and he gave 2. Who is he looking down on? That is what she says, but her hands are tearing through the item options in the Lord's Order trade channel, locked on anything with card in the name, and she titters that there really is not a single one beaming like a flower. Women, big or small, run their minds on the same magic. Since he gave me such a precious item, she thinks, do not even dream of getting it back. I was right about one thing, that against absolute power troop control hardly means a thing, and Song Yusin is the first witness. The moment she gives up the protective shield, she activates the card, and the Minotaur guard appears, senses the swarm of goblins, lowers his head and launches fearless charge. The 3 level 3 goblins at the front hammered straight off their feet, screaming and crashing together. Before they can right themselves, a heavy strike comes down, and with no lord's bonus of their own, after one combo they are a sliver from dead. The Minotaur guard finishes the job, and Song Yusin gets her perfect start. She destroys the island, and the reward for her first perfect kill is generous, the system logging her perfect battle at 1 out of 10. A special equipment called the Star of Positioning, a specialty upgrade card, 4,000 military rations, and food. With my support, she lacks neither food nor drink, and now she knows even her safety rides on a heavy hitter, plainly a pauper living a life of ease, when she has watched too many in the channel for whom a bag of instant noodles is a whole day's food. She has guessed many times that I must know her, since otherwise, given the worth of black soil, I would never bend over backward this much. But her probing turns up nothing. She collects the rewards happily, since they came from her own kills, yet none help her much, and her dream of standing on her own shatters again. It seems she still has to keep eating from that guy's hand. She sighs. So fine. She will give him everything, useless to her anyway. Call it paying for her meals. That sigh comes after she reads the equipment. The Star of Positioning, a pair of glasses where you enter a name to locate a survivor inside the region. On a 2-day cooldown. I handed her 2 level 4 cards by my own standard, that only absolute crushing power guarantees a perfect result with no surprises. Just as she sends the trade request, my own battle ends, the system logging my difficult achievement coming one after another at 2 out of 10. perfect battle at 6, beacon of the night at 6, extreme vision plus 6 meters. I destroy one island and keep the one with the saplings. And since my magic has not recovered and a ground full of corpses cannot be wasted, I spend 1 attribute point on spirit to lift my magic to 30. The rewards you earned yourself, why send them to me? I ask her. Monsters come at me in waves, unlike others who might not meet one for half a day, and when supplies cannot keep pace with construction, expanding loses its point, so my plan is to wreck every island without a specialty and let the gear pile up, and taking the girl's meager scraps would only shame me. She tells me she does not need this stuff, that she has taken so much care from me it is time to give back. Not bad, I think. A survivor not blinded by money. I feel small next to her character. Unable to refuse, I accept. Figuring at worst I make it up elsewhere, and tell her fine, no heirs. Food is getting harder to come by and ours was barely enough, so this card lands just right. After a moment I open another trade and pass her every monster card I just picked up, telling her to swap them for whatever she urgently needs. Building materials, anything but water. Song Yusin smiles. Because I said ours, it really was ours, and the 19 cards in her hand are lifesavers beyond stating. Once content, people love to look back, and she thinks of when her sister used to needle me for no reason. That happy look still vivid. Since you two broke up, she thinks it is my turn to tease him. Surely no one would mind. She asks whether she can really exchange them for whatever she wants, and I tell her yes. Is there a problem? Does she not have anything she desperately needs? The girl gives a sly smile and says it is too cold, too dark, too quiet at night, that she wants to exchange for a house, a light, and someone to warm her bed. She goes a touch embarrassed after, but wants to see how I answer the impossible ask. I am genuinely stunned because I have lived the cold and desolation of the island at night, miserable for a young girl with not even a roof against the rain. So her impossible ask is exactly what she needs most. But from the shape of her words, is she hinting I should team up and live with her? Damn, a real possibility. I tell her I have everything she wants, that she would not be trying to exchange for me, would she? A house, a light, and I can warm her bed. She bursts out laughing and fires back. Brother, boss, uncle, please guide her, please take care of her. Who is she calling uncle? I shoot back. I said I have them, so I have them. Why not give up that broken island and come join me? I am short on hands and short a girlfriend too. Why is this person still so smooth-mouthed? She thinks. One might take him for an old lecher, but how could he fool her? She knows more about him than he thinks. My words move her, and she wants to say yes on the spot, but she fears I will think her an easy girl, and she dithers, unable to decide. Fine if she does not want to be a girlfriend. I tell her food and lodging included. Is she coming or not? Loneliness is one piece of it, but I genuinely need the hands. Trading supplies, constant fighting, washing, cooking, keeping the defense tower up. The odd night raid with my 3 points of physique I am run ragged dawn to dark. And if this keeps up, my dragon body will collapse sooner or later. A girl this attractive and this trustworthy does not come along often, and I am not letting her slip. Song Yusin is startled that he demoted her that fast, because without the title of girlfriend, how is she supposed to feel secure? When with this guy's name, if he just shouted in the channel, he would drown in admirers, and where would she fit in then? Come, I tell her, use the star of positioning to find me. Song Yusin smiles because fate is a wonderful thing. Who would have thought a familiar stranger could turn into an acquaintance? With further down the road, not out of the question, as if written in advance. A broken lord with nothing, she thinks. Anyone who wants the title can have it. I smile too because best of all, if the girl comes she can share so much of this with me, since the loneliness of one person is too terrible, which is why people gather so gladly. In an age like this, a plain yes or no is enough. Far better than the dance. Everyone is busy. Becoming a follower means giving up her lord's status, so I really do have to treat her better from here on, to be worth the trust. Besides, her pitiful look is so much like my first girlfriend's, and living under one roof, will she not become mine in the end? My spring has arrived, has it not? By the star of positioning's read, we cannot meet for at least 2 more days, nothing to do but wait it out. After the chat ends, both satisfied, I head to the crystal platform to sort my haul. A D-grade mixed tree sapling specialty, an immature mixed tree forest, 7 species now, 1 rare sapling, 1 high grade, 5 low grade, providing no resources yet but able to grow. The larger the area and richer the variety, the greater the harvest. Its description tells me to give it time, that once mature it will hand me not just wood but mushrooms and other surprises. And it adds 30 to territory prosperity. A long-term investment, I muse. A sapling that yields nothing yet carries 30 prosperity, so once it scales up it is a forest treasure. What hides in a forest going without saying? Fine, I tell it, I will give you time. My prosperity has hit 211 points, and I still have no idea what the number is for, since not even the experts in the channel discuss it, yet nobody believes it is just for show. If I cannot crack it, I will stop chewing on it. Next, I look over the rewards from destroying islands. For equipment, only 3 shields with +2 defense, usable by soldiers and individuals with no troop bonus, and good gear is getting harder to come by. The specialty card I once thought dropped at a sky-high rate is nowhere to be found. one set each of cotton shoes and cotton pants, indispensable for extreme weather. For food, only 850 grams of biscuits, as little as it gets, and military rations plummeted too, just 2,000 grams only because my troops are strong with no combat losses. Fed solely for upkeep do I feel no pressure. But the channel tells me lords whose troops sit at level 1 or 2 are having a wretched time. It is fine against weak monsters, but anything above level 3 is a disaster, because after barely scraping a win, troop strength is gutted by 7 or 8 tenths, and once they refill the losses and cover daily upkeep, not much is left from the victory at all. Most lied hand to mouth, overjoyed to save one extra soldier off the field, or a few hundred grams of resources, the true face of most lords, with only a few sharp troop controllers, or those carrying powerful skills able to make a fortune. Those troublesome level 3 monsters, the second they meet my Minotaur warrior, are just cannon fodder. Goblins are beginner monsters, so good things from them are unrealistic, and what I can do for now is use them in the survival challenges to bank achievements, and attribute points the real growth that one day lets me challenge stronger monsters. That is the road to good things, and clear as I am on it, I have no idea how long I wait for that day. The upgrade card Song Yusin gave me solves my urgent need at the right time, so I use the C-grade card on the fish tank, since with food short across the board, food is top priority. The tank becomes a C1 grade fish-producing water tank, taking 8 square meters and putting out 5,000 grams of assorted freshwater fish and shrimp a day at random. Its description daring me not to believe it gives me fish every day so long as I keep it filled. Adding 40 to territory prosperity. This too is thanks to my big territory, I tell it, since most people would not even have a place to set you. An extra 8 square meters for 3,000 more grams of fish a day. No loss at all. From barely scraping by to a little left over, it comes down to one upgrade card, and whatever I cannot eat I raise in the tank, since I rest easier with food stockpiled. Every survivor has a system-gifted specialty, so starving is basically off the table. But survival is not only about being full. Without an army, you cannot fend off invaders. Killing monsters takes soldiers, and soldiers take water and food, a dilemma with no way around it. And food, rations, and water grow scarcer by the day, choking the army's strength and recruitment and gnawing its safety besides. In the face of survival, the choice between expanding territory and gathering resources looks like the system quietly forcing people to stop occupying islands at all. And worse, if your luck is bad and you lose troops without a matching reward, the bind is plain. Since specialty output is not enough, those with foresight have woken to the importance of farming, though plain soil is too slow, helpless against extreme weather, useless if the plot is small, and while cheap, the land and seeds and greenhouse materials stump even the farsighted. Over in the Women's Legion, Seong-yu gets lucky on the offensive against a plant monster, walking away with a fat pumpkin north of 10 pounds. Best of all, it holds seeds, and unscientific as it is for a pumpkin that big to carry only 10, the description leaves her feeling she hit the jackpot. Since the seeds can be planted, carry sky-high resistance to extreme weather, and are a fast-growing variety, so she hands a portion up to her alliance leader. Gina happens to know someone holding a black soil with special properties that raises yield, shortens maturation, and most of all carries extreme weather resistance through the roof. And married to pumpkin seeds, greenhouses would not be needed at all. Materials saved, growth sped, maybe a harvest in a month and change. Simply the best choice for farming on a floating island. Little sister Gina asks, "Are you there? Have you made up your mind?" Song Yusin replies that she is sorry, big sister, but she means to give up being a lord and become someone's follower. The two had crossed paths twice. The first while Song Yusin sold black soil, no deal, but they became friends. The second spurred by my calling her my sweetheart, more that she felt ashamed someone was feeding her while she did not even know what was happening to him. As a power in the Women's Legion, Gina would have sources, so Song Yusin had messaged to ask, and Gina, free in knowing the matter and wanting to befriend her and bring her into the alliance, laid it all out. The whole story rattled Song Yusin, who had not even dared reach out when she could not help, and only later, watching me carry on as if nothing happened, did her tension ease. Then it happened she met her first wave of monsters, wanting a perfect win for better gear to help me with, only for the guy to slap down a level 4 card. Since she did not need to fret over my safety, and since I had invited her, going with the flow felt natural. "What?" Gina yelps. "Do not be rash. Have you hit trouble? You can tell me about food or drink. A lord's identity is not given up lightly, and once you become a follower you lose your freedom. And in a world like this, are there even good people left?" She uses "do not be rash" twice to talk her down. "No trouble," Song Yusin says. He treats her very well. She has thought it through. It is not impulse. And just as Gina said, good people are few, so she should not let him slip. The more she says it, the more uneasy Gina feels, exactly like a young girl falling for a scoundrel's line. Because what judgment can a girl not even out of school have? Then it hits her that this girl once asked about me, and could the man she means to follow be me, the so-called best heavy hitter in the region? And worst of all, she took it for real. That was just everyone buttering me up, Gina thinks. An unspoken praise spun from fear my water price would climb. And how many cursed me for a fool behind it? And the man is reclusive too, never a word more than he needs, never answering her kind reminders. And she has heard the overly reclusive often carry warped temperaments. The good man you mean, Gina asks plainly. Is it that Seo Hyuk? Yes, Song Yusin says. He is coming to pick her up in a few days. He is only a good man in everyone's mouths. Gina tells her, little sister should know him better, and she advises again that if she absolutely must follow him, she should wait until he survives the monster assault, not throw herself in before the good days have begun. Song Yusin knows Gina would not help for nothing. She just cannot tell what makes her worth recruiting, but motive aside, the concern feels warm, like a mother's nagging. Still, she will not talk about me with Gina, because does a girl need to explain whether her own brother is a good man? And of course he has flaws, a bit quiet for one, but she can do the talking for two. This woman really is decent, she thinks, told me everything when I asked about my brother, a favor I must repay. So she passes Gina a level 3 Goblin Soldier card, costing no leadership and enjoying the Lord's bonus, already stronger off its base attributes than a level 2 soldier with Gina's own bonus. And Gina goes speechless, not needing a single guess to know it came from that Sohyuk. But an alliance leader taking advantage of a young girl would be too shameful, so a small bottle of red potion lands in Song Yusin's hands, a single dose restoring 20 health to one unit in battle, useless in the survival state. Then another card comes, one goes back, another comes. Two kinds of items the market never sees, traded between the two women. 2 bottles of red potion for 3 level 3 cards. Gina knows she's still got the better end, but she has no more goods, and she feels a pang of envy, because all her worry was for nothing. Items this valuable, and that Seo Hyuk handed so many to the girl. He values her this much, she reasons, so he must want her black soil too, and from that, just how strong must that Seo Hyuk be? Who would believe it? All right, little sister, Gina says. She is out of red potions. They will trade again later, and she can buy black soil off her at a high price. Finally, I understand you, Song Yusin thinks. So you are after the black soil. The potion she traded for she sends straight to me, but I will not take it, because what use is 20 health when it cannot even fill one of my soldiers? The troop types do not matter, I figure. If they die, I recruit more, and at worst, I interrupt my perfect battle. But as long as I clear 10 victories and pull another reward, I am fine. And an achievement for an unbroken streak is not worth considering. Thinking it over, the potion is still useful. I can use it on myself, the girl, or the pets, none of whom can afford anything going wrong. I am not attacking proactively for now. With strong troops and the defense towers on guard, the danger is small, so I tell her to keep the potion for now and we will sort it out when we meet. Song Yusin is thrilled by the concern, and looking at Gina's message, she replies that she asked him, that the red potion can be traded but not the black soil, that he wants to keep it to plant strawberries for her to eat. Gina says nothing more, only goes sourer, because everyone else is budgeting their meals, and you have land and are not planting grain or vegetables, saving it instead for strawberries, and what is so good about those strawberries anyway? They are tart. People really cannot be compared. I put fresh water back on the shelves and check the channel, finding the buzz over monster drops has long since faded. A lucky few may be still pulling equipment, but upgrade cards basically vanished. Rations and water barely breaking even. The drop rate on daily necessities still decent. So I shout in the channel that I need saplings and seeds of all kinds, and any brother with stock should message me his price. Flattery or not, my refusal to raise my water price has earned me the survivor's goodwill, because a label like good man, shouted long enough, slowly turns true, especially now when everyone is struggling, since if the big boss's water climbed again, their lives would only get harder. Almost the instant I finish typing, a friend request chimes, and it is Seo Ire, a name I know because he answers nearly every call of mine, always backing me up. Big boss, take a look and see if you want it. He says, do not mind the price, useless to me to keep. Just adding a friend is enough. Like always, the second I speak, he answers, building goodwill that might come in handy someday, though he has never found his opening to connect. My request had nothing to do with him either, until a thought struck him about the apple core he ate yesterday. Apple seeds, plantable, common variety, slow to grow, half a square meter at the seedling stage, spreading as it grows, and that description leaves him unable to even name a price. The system tells him I accepted his request, and he picks 6 viable seeds out of one core and sends them over. My trade follows, of course, because how could a man of my character let people take a loss? 6 level 2 skeleton soldier cards for his seeds. Seo Ire smiles at them, because even skeletons beat his level 1 troops, a useless item swapped for combat power. And with his troop control, he reckons this is practically takeoff. As long as there is income, he keeps a slice and uses the rest to buy troops straight off the big boss, who would surely never let him eat a loss. True win-win cooperation, as he sees it. Meanwhile, Wang Pio watches me carry on as if nothing happened, still gathering things, my water not even run dry, and feels as disgusted as a man who swallowed a fly. But he only sneers. Just wait, this is only the beginning, and when I meet a level 4 armored goblin, that is when I will cry. What a coincidence that his words come true. The system warns enemies are approaching, to gather my troops or prepare to retreat. With a wider field of view, even the notices read different. I muse. I count as both offense and defense now. My eye of oversight turns toward them. Goblins as expected. On a 15 square meter island. Empty. A poor scrap of a thing. The lineup different this time. 2 level 4 armored goblins leading 8 level 3 troops. My second time meeting level 4 monsters. But I am no longer the pushover I was. The battle holds no suspense, because even without the Lord's bonus, level 4 cannot beat level 5. Never mind the defense tower that ignores defense. After carding this wave I frown, because these heavy armored troops have nothing worth praising. The loot painfully thin, and my faith in goblins dropping equipment, upgrade cards, and food has wobbled. My old rule of wrecking any island without a specialty changes right here, especially after the mixed tree haul, because counting this one my island sits at only 129 square meters, while a true tree line runs how many thousand. My head was rusty, I realize, since this is precisely the time to expand like mad while monster levels are low and the loot is thin, instead of waiting until I am killing powerful monsters and reluctantly giving up high-level gear before I bother with territory. With food and military strength both sufficient, what is there to hesitate over? Just as I move to end the battle, I stop, because my troops and towers are basically untouched. No reason to retreat. It has been only 2.5 hours since I woke. Already 2 waves, so I can wait longer. Monsters sure to come pester me again, and as long as I do not end the battle or rest the troops, the next encounter gets judged continuous, and I can pull up the coming one after another achievement. Ashamed to give up a win-win like that, since only I have the ability and the nerve for it, while most would already be home, and by rights my battle count outstrips anyone's, so I should count as a master. That Wang Piao really is a good man, because without his help how would I have had the chance to become one, and should I give him a level 4 armored goblin as thanks? Forget it. What if the petty fool dies of rage? And besides, a master would not glance at a trifle that small, so I will just keep the thing myself, purely for the master's health. The waiting runs long, but with someone willing to chat and joke, the monotony stops being unbearable, and through the talk I finally learn the girl's profession, a junior battle priest, and even a noob like me knows recruiting a profession this precious means hitting the jackpot. It does not move me much, but it is different for the troops, since soldiers in battle have no notion of resting on the spot, and if the fight does not end soon, even the Minotaur warriors with their huge stamina start to fidget, and once stamina runs dry they begin losing health. Lucky for me, the goblins, set on reclaiming their glory, do not disappoint, and another wave of poor devils arrives, a notch stronger. On a 20 square meter island ride 4 level 4 armored goblins, but this time they all carry shields, along with 7 level 3 troops, the first time a goblin island has fielded more than 10. More outrageous still. They do not rush me, they hold their island roughly 10 meters off mine. The odd behavior catches my eye, and I read them clean. Level 4 Armored Shield Goblin, an Advanced Rare Elite, Health 65, Attack 12, Defense 6, Magic Resistance 3, the description calling them Armored Shield Troops, whose health and defense run far past others of the same tier. 1 in 100 brave tribesmen, elites among elites. Their skill is solid as a rock, a 25% chance to block any damage. Their trait prioritizing defense towers for double damage, a 20% chance to block tower attacks, and 30 to block archers. Their weakness that all that defense and health makes them arrogant. The attributes live right up to the advanced rare label, nearly on par with the Minotaur Guard. There is one more telling difference, their faces, because unlike the uniform look of other soldiers, each wears its own face like a human. Before I can study them further, a shout goes up, telling the human in front to hand over their tribe's treasure if he knows what is good for him, or only destruction awaits. My eyes narrow, because they can talk, no longer mindless troops, but a true race. But so what? Because if I do not dare offend even a goblin, what survival am I going to talk about later? And the staff's attributes are far too strong, a thing I will lean on hard down the road. So how could I give it up before I am cornered? Intelligent creatures really are different, and the goblins, with their sharp eyes, may have caught my strength, since they stall their attack and even show signs of leaving. My troops are dead tired, so I do not dare abandon the tower's edge to chase, but as long as a man's nerve holds, there are always more solutions than problems. And since I found their weakness, how could I not work it in a chance like this? Green-skinned ugly things, born cowards. Come on if you dare. The goblins bristle at once, screaming with rage and wheeling their island around, shouting to kill us and reclaim their glory. Idiots, I laugh. With brains and a temper like that, it is a wonder they have not gone extinct. I only care about killing, not burying, and if they dare come, I will swallow them whole and leave no ash. The Minotaur warrior's stamina is spent and they can no longer use skills. But I am not worried because with the pet's help, even a 1-for-1 basic attack trade leaves my odds high. And on top of that, there's the Archer Tower, the real reason I baited them. But there is always a gap between the picture in the head and the thing itself. And these guys' trait is peculiar, because even with my troops plainly in their way, they would rather eat an extra hit to slip past and push the tower. The double damage is genuinely terrifying. One hit reading -24, -24, -24, and the tower will not last. while my cards cannot crack these guys' defense. No point spending the 4 level 4 cards on an already won battle, so let them tear it down, since rebuilding costs half the resources and I can afford it. Turns out the ones who specialize in dismantling towers are amateurs at fighting, because by the time they finish wrecking it, the minions under them are already dealt with, and the 4 good brothers drop as 1. The system reports skill failed. Skill failed, and I remember the card creation skill does not work on intelligent creatures, even dead ones. So I harvest only 7 level 3 cards. Just as I wonder what to do with the 4 corpses, another prompt appears that I have obtained 4 one-handed shields, 1 floating island core, and 1 floating island core. And as it fades, the corpses vanish too, the very scene of the man who once died by my hand. Maybe this is because the Goblin Island had nothing else on it, and if it had carried more, would killing intelligent creatures hand me everything on their island? Would that be the true way to kill monsters? Since they are a race, they surely are not like us newly arrived humans with only a tiny scrap each, and over time their islands must have grown enormous, so there must be good things on them. The only question being who can take them on, which is why the system offers the path of destroying an island to drop equipment. Pure speculation, since no one can answer it, and I can only feel it out over time. I had gotten 1 core before, able to spin off a 10 square meter island for a follower or hero to garrison. The floating island core is a rare grade territory treasure, installable on a territory's main building at will, powering a floating island at 10 kilometers an hour, switchable, upgradable, and fusible. Reading that, I slap my thigh. No wonder the monsters keep getting stronger, because my island's speed is 14 kilometers an hour, so ordinary small monsters can no longer catch me, only weak ones that happen into my path. Come to think of it, I met no high-level monsters last night. What luck? Or do they not go out at night? Another question I cannot crack. One that needs time. The core has me ecstatic, because with it my island's speed jumps to 24 kilometers an hour, the speed of a bicycle, and could an electric scooter be far behind? Forget it, these matters can wait. For now I need to rest, repair the tower, and slow the island. And if I am lucky enough to meet 2 more waves of weaker monsters, the priority is switching off the Beacon of the Night, because a whole day of fighting rolling into the night is something no one could stand. End battle, I say. The system reports my territory expanded by 15 square meters, then by 20, with 1 chance to change the terrain, my coming one after another at 3 out of 10, perfect battle at 8, Beacon of the Night at 8, extreme vision plus 8 meters, a nudge to complete more achievements. I pushed my troops to the brink just to get what I wanted. Not easy, but the cramped little island finally breathing lifts my mood a fair bit, because the best choice is the one you do not regret. I move the mixed tree forest to a corner to grow as it pleases, then press the apple seeds into a corner of the black soil to speed their germination, meaning to shift them into the tree line later, and if they bear apples, great. If not, no matter, it widens the variety. Lucky the tower eats only half its materials to rebuild, and enough building stock has piled up that the small loss is nothing. Next I burn rations and water to bring my soldier stamina back, then install the floating island core on the doorframe of the house, and switch off its kinetic activation, since the description says it works anywhere on the main building. Then through the Lord's token in the territory interface, I make the sail tree furl its leaves, dropping the island to its lowest speed, my first test, to see whether my not meeting low-level monsters is tied to speed. Rang rang, Lord Chicken, dinner is ready, I call, since the girl already cooked for us while we chatted. Maybe sensing I was in a fight, she made a bit more, and 2 bowls of rice and a fish are left over, more than I can put away. It really is nice to have a woman around, I say. This is what a person's life should be, and in a couple of days I will find the 2 of you a mistress, so do not you dare bully her. Rang rang barks. The rooster crows, and as if to confirm my guess, the moment lunch is done, an 8 square meter goblin island slides into view. My eye of oversight reads them clean. A level 2 goblin treasure hunting team, super strong vision, fond of shiny things, and on it, of all things, a gold generating stone, which I confirm with an extra long look. That fearless drive straight at my island is plainly a trait of the troop type, no goblin leading them. The Minotaur is still recovering and the pets are napping in the shade, so I handle this wave myself, plenty confident with the cards on hand, 4 level 4 Minotaur guards, 2 level 4 armored goblins, 15 level 3 goblin soldiers, 5 level 2 skeleton soldiers, 5 level 2 skeleton soldiers, 5 level 2 pikemen, and 1 ice cone magic card. Cracking a nut with a sledgehammer for a few level 2s is wasteful. The sledgehammer saved for bigger battles, so I manage these small fry myself. When 5 pikemen flood the fence the goblins are battering and the arrow tower keeps firing, the outcome is no longer in doubt, essentially a free island, which I accept, taking 8 level 2 cards as it ends. The system reports the difficult achievement Lone Hero, 1 out of 10, a reward of 2 attribute points, the description being to win without leading soldiers. My this isn't hard either at 4 out of 10, perfect battle at 9, Beacon of the Night at 9, extreme vision plus 9 meters. Occupy, I say, and the island grows 8 square meters and hands me the D-grade gold generating stone. And I laugh, because this wave of small monsters brought territory, an achievement, and a specialty, an unexpected gift. The worth of attribute points needs no explaining, and earning them rides entirely on my own exploring. While achievements are good but brutal to finish, since they often demand 10 completions, and meeting 2 waves in a day is already hard for most. I benefit too from the unbroken stream, since otherwise where would I find so many to kill? Finally, I look at the gold generating stone, a D2 grade specialty unique to the human race, putting out 1 stone material a day, and my mood sinks, because unique to the human race means someone got killed by monsters. The system reports a specialty with matching attributes and asks whether to merge. Whoever you were, I think, I have already avenged you. So rest easy, you no longer need this worldly thing. Consider it my reward. Yes, I tell it, and the stone vanishes, my own glowing gold, and upgrading taller and broader. I check its attributes, a C1 grade treasure now, 200 centimeters tall, 100 wide. A unique floating island product, bringing 1 square meter of island and occupying 2. Output 5 pieces of stone material and 1 iron block a day. Current status stone 3 out of 5. Iron 1 out of 1. Higher levels yielding more. One of the key sources of rare ore. Its upgrade condition is to evolve by absorbing its own produced stone, high-grade ore accelerating it, 25 pieces to advance to C1, the output selected manually to absorb. Its description tells me if I want more materials and ore, then let it upgrade and stop stealing its stone. Tricked by the description, I curse. Who would have guessed it was manual? I thought it ran automatic and ignored it all these days, missing out on its growth, and if it had not hit C grade and added the upgrade condition, I would still have no idea. Better late than never, so I feed it. 1 iron ore worth 5 points of growth experience, 3 stone worth 3, meaning it grows about once every 3 days. So the sale tree is the same, I think, and following the stones method I feed the sale tree's output back into it, only to get no prompt, this broken thing still hiding itself until C grade. I admit I was careless about something this simple, but with so many people in the channel it is impossible none knew, and yet not one said a word. Human nature, truly unfathomable, no one can stand to watch another do well. Fine, if you will not say it, I will. Because only when everyone profits will there be resources to buy my water, and even goods others cannot move will get a chance to circulate. I am something now, I crow, one man driving a whole region's economy. So in the channel I tell everyone the growth of gold generating stones and sale trees needs manual upgrading. That brothers who do not know should hurry and not miss days the way I did. COI Ray says the boss proves once again with his actions that he is a good man. Thank you. Wang Mang asks whether it is not supposed to be automatic. Whether this is a scam. Wang Pyo says no way. A thing this simple and people still do not know. Are they kidding? Someone shoots back that it is far better than knowing and telling nobody, you trash who cannot bear to see others do well. And another adds that Wang Pyo is a formidable expert, but set his character beside the boss's. There is no comparison. Thanks pour in. Thank you boss. Gina too. The one-sided praise lets me show off again, while the embattled Wang Pyo says nothing more, because this time he really was not hiding anything, and stumbling into public wrath was not something he saw coming. So many things run like this. Dead simple yet easily missed, and his subordinate, seeing the boss this frustrated, moves to defend him, only for the air to grow tenser. I have not left, rare for me to lurk this long, because I cannot control other people's fights. But if too many die, it will cut my income. These guys are hateful, always scrapping among themselves, when they would do better going to kill monsters if they have the ability. The moment I think of the gold generating stone, I feel a flash of annoyance. Because how can these survivors not even hold off level 2 monsters, and if they stay this fragile and everyone dies, where do I gather resources from? It seems I need a way to make them behave, and I land on relying on myself, since I cannot impress these guys without showing some real stuff. But a move like that needs strategy, to avoid offending people. Since I no longer care about the level 2 soldier cards I hold, I make them my breakthrough, because they will grow common later, but right now others sorely need them. A good time to build a reputation while the crowd is thick, and my territory has plenty of empty space for everyone to help fill, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So I post that I have put items up for auction, the quantity small, interested brothers welcome to look, exchangeable for stone only for now, and send out the info on the freshly produced level 2 cards. The skeleton soldiers I hold back, too few, their passive skills not worth a good price now the system soldiers are gone. The treasure hunting goblin level 2 soldier reads health 20, attack 5, defense 2, magic defense 1, and for the same level 2, wild monster attributes run markedly higher than system soldiers. Perhaps only the troop types I got are rare barracks escaping the heavy weakening, the way my armored Minotaur warrior turned out so fierce. A card like this, an extra high-level soldier out of nowhere, can decide life and death in a pinch, and who would not want a couple as backup? But the quantity is too small, and almost the instant they appear, the 8 cards, priced at 5 stone each, are snatched up. Even pricier they would sell, but I believe these are one-time items, and selling too high would look greedy and choke future business. So this wave was just publicity, building a name for the truly good things. So popular, I muse, I can drop the fixed price and run auctions, highest bidder takes it. Watching the channel churn, I send another message, telling everyone not to fight. The items really are gone, the low price was just an advertisement. But if anyone is truly in danger, as long as you can meet the price, come to me, and please screenshot and state that you are the one under attack. From start to finish, I never meddle in others' affairs, yet everyone grasps that the bullied can buy soldiers from the boss, and high-level soldiers at that. CO Ire jumps in, asking whether the boss is not afraid someone tricks him out of his good deed and vanishes. That is even better, I tell him. I am worried I cannot find people looking to court death, so does he want to try? The things I offer are pretty good, worth one trick. CO Ire's head fills with black lines and he hurries to reply that boss, we are on the same side. The lighter I speak, the less anyone dares risk it, because if I dare do this, how could I not have a means of cutting my losses? And a man like that in the region really can make the schemers behave. Wang Meng asks whether the boss has high-level soldiers to sell, to put them up, not to fear his brother cannot meet the price, and someone follows that even if they cannot afford it, can they at least look? Good stuff exists, I tell them, but I save it for those who need saving, because if I sold it to you and someone else hit danger, would I not be eating my own words? I love this boss, one cries. He is so damned righteous. Another asks whether the boss needs someone to warm his bed, while others spit that calling him boss. Does he think he is something, just a dog trying to profit off the dead, that the man is either selling water or a tasteless piece of trash that you are about to lose your life and still fret over property? What a clown. After that, whatever anyone says, I never speak again, because I am no saint and will not help for free. Just a survivor who wants to live a little easier. And what is wrong with a few curses? It is not as if I lose a piece of flesh. But if you insist on being a trailblazer, do not blame me for writing you down in my notebook. A chime cuts in, someone offering a poplar tree. I am overjoyed, because I thought trees would be easy to gather, yet no one had traded with me. And finally here is someone willing. Until I see the name and my expression goes strange, hesitant, and a touch guilty. After accepting Gok Hyun's friend request, she fires off a trade request and clicks confirm straight away, and I am stunned, because did she assume I would not dare cheat her? I quickly ask her to name her price. She does not know how to price it either, she tells me, since she and CO Ire are in the same group, and he said when doing business with heavy hitters, just focus on the trade. They will not let you take a loss. CO Ire again, I think, this one can be cultivated. Then you have to say what you urgently need, I tell her, and this time she does not hesitate, replying that she wants soldier cards, her shield nearly gone and monsters still attacking outside. What level monsters? I ask. And what level your soldiers? Hers are level 1, the monsters 8 level 2s. Level 1 soldiers, I echo. Her specialty was bread, she explains, not enough to eat, so she used divine power to upgrade it, and when she wanted to upgrade the barracks too, she did not have enough left. A valid reason, since at the start everyone was groping forward, and who would not put food first? While she talks, I check the poplar tree. A large poplar, ordinary tree stage, planting requiring 4 square meters. Other uses unknown, recoverable for 40 pieces of wood. A tree this big, I ask, in a territory where you have killed no monsters. How did it survive? The tree was not brought by her, she replies. It collided with her island, one of those resource islands without monsters, and carried 4 square meters of territory in with it. This woman's luck is extraordinary, not only meeting a resource island, but finding me. Because the thing is, I know her. Gok Hyun was my university classmate, and from the moment we became friends I recognized her. Every frown and smile is still clear. I do not want her to recognize me, the odds next to nothing, and still I am tight as a wire. I had meant to give her 3 level 3 soldier cards to carry her win and call it done, but I was the one who wronged her back then, and now that I have the ability and stand by doing nothing, I feel a touch guilty because the first wave's full victory is too important. The reward's the richest, and she truly needs this clean win. Forget it, whether she is still that stubborn deskmate or not. Meeting is fate, so I help her this once. Call it compensation for all the nonsense I once spouted at her. The system reports my trade confirmed, to view at the crystal platform. Looking at the 3 level 3 soldier cards and 5 level 2 skeleton soldier cards in her hand, Gok Hyun smiles, because this blockhead is actually quite reliable. At the same time, she grinds her teeth, because this dead man once said he most wanted to live off her, made her study and train day and night, and just when she finally became the successful woman he spoke of, he quietly disappeared. Later she understood he left only after she succeeded, but without him she was not happy, and later she heard he was in a relationship and was angry enough to bite through her teeth. This scoundrel had tricked her badly, and from then their worlds split entirely. Yet her superior life brought no happiness for all its material plenty. After extreme experiences, people learn to change, a realization the stubborn her had stumbled into recently. I worked so hard, she thinks, just so we could have a better life, but you, with that chauvinistic attitude, stayed far away, and now that we have met again, you can support me this time, right? Just as both of us turn over the next topic, a stranger messages me, asking whether the young man needs a wooden bed. A double, the kind that will not break however much you toss and turn, traded for water. His name is Lee Gonsang, a man in his 60s. No wonder he calls me young man. Wooden beds are very expensive. Are you not keeping it for yourself? I ask, the indestructible attribute piquing my interest, because a wooden double bed actually costs 100 pieces of wood. A bed is just a household item, yet the system price is outrageous, steep enough that most people who need beds put together their own, since being able to sleep is enough, and in the early days of scarcity no one would waste so much. A view I share. I can make my own, I tell him, the effect no worse than this, never expecting the old man to be a skilled craftsman. I accept his request. These basic items, unlike main buildings and defense towers, carry no attribute bonus, and while they give no security, they bring happiness, especially when a man is tired, a bed more than enough. I have water to spare and will not pass on something I fancy, so amid the old man's flood of gratitude, the trade closes. By coincidence, Gok Hyon's message rings again, direct and to the point, that she is about to kill monsters but has not eaten enough, and her stamina is too low, which drags her troops' health. And not to worry, she will not take my food for free. She will return it the moment she gets it, so it will not delay me from living off other people. I regret it terribly because why was I so cheap back then, knowing this woman was stubborn? Why did I even tease her, saying things like wanting to live off her, when everyone else took it for a joke and only she took it for real? It ended with this woman wearing every one of my labels, and I had not even held her hand, and later she succeeded and became the center of everything. One performance enough for me to chase a lifetime. Countless young talents circled her, and had I stayed by her side, I would only have dragged down her work and her standing, and living off her was a lie anyway. So knowing I was wholly unworthy, I simply decisively vanished. In the end, it was all my fault, and since I can now afford one more person's food, I will make up for my past mistakes. The system reports my trade sent. Eating my leftover rice and stewed fish from lunch, Gok Hyon feels as if she is having a feast, because eating bread every day had her dreading the sight of it, while she also feared not having enough, a helpless feeling. Is there anything else you are missing, I ask? If I have it, I will get it all for you. Watching the concern, her lips curve up and she feels much better, because this scoundrel will not tend his own cabbage and has to go find other grass to graze. And now that this beauty is wild grass again, he has come back obediently. Scoundrels are just pretentious, she thinks, and replies, asking why I do not keep pretending not to know her, whether it is because she is down and out now and I cannot afford to support someone who lives off me, so I have turned around wanting to support her instead. Why is this woman turned so venomous-mouthed, I wonder? Her resentment must be sky-high. I was not afraid you would lose popularity and hinder your career, I tell her. Bullshit, she shoots back. Stop feeding me useless excuses. You are just a trash talker. Damn it, I tell her. I am going to support you right now. Are you in or not? You said it, she replies. If you trick me one more time, I will die for you to see, and through the text I can feel the woman's resolve. Not daring to provoke her further, I give a heads up that there is a little girl who wants to be my follower, who has black soil as a specialty and is a combat priest besides. And I do not need to say how important she is. I cannot give her up. In this world, Gok Hyon replies, if you do not want to die, you have to get stronger, and one more ability means one more strength. So do I think she is someone who cannot tell good from bad? Good. I think with relief, because what I am afraid of is the two of you not getting along. Once we have been talking a while, I learned Gok Hyon's profession as a novice defense master, and the perk is exactly what I would have ordered off a menu. Because as long as she stands inside her own territory, every defensive structure gains 10% health, and every defense tower gains 10% power, range, and attack speed. She is the perfect person to guard a base. I ask her one more time whether she is truly not short of anything, and why she did not come looking for me sooner. She tells me she is not short of much else, only that she never cooked at home so she had little food stockpiled, and that she used those 10 free minutes to grab water, clothes, and blankets instead. And precisely because she was never short on water, she had no idea the regional heavy hitter was me, the scoundrel. I tell her to ease off the scoundrel talk. I have not even held her hand. She fires back that my mouth is the cheapest thing about me, and that even if she handed me a chance I would fumble it. Right in the middle of trading insults with her, a man named Oh Pung lights up the regional channel, frantically tagging me, screaming that someone from the Mutual Aid Alliance is trying to kill him. He drops a screenshot of the attack a second later, the timestamp clean and current. The attacker named Lee Sa, leading level 2 soldiers, his island already closing in on Opung's. Opung tells me that even though he cannot afford a price, if I kill the man for him, then everything except the untradeable territory is mine, and he will record video proof so nobody can accuse him of pocketing a thing. This Opung is a sensible one. I bark into the regional channel that the Mutual Aid Alliance has gotten cocky, that they must think my word is just wind in the air, and that I am taking this grudge personally, telling Opung to add me as a friend and head to the crystal platform to collect. Off to the side, Wang Pio watches every line scroll by without typing a word, because he wants to see exactly what tricks I have up my sleeve. Quiet as he has already slipped Lee Saw 10 Peakman spears with +2 damage and 10 shields with +2 defense through a friend trade. With his boss bankrolling him, Lee Sa's nerve swells, and he taunts me in the channel that calling me a boss has gone to my head, that his business is none of my concern, that the man he is hunting has a cheap mouth and dies today, so let me see how I save him. I chuckle to myself. At least people call me boss. And nobody provokes me. I call out his whole alliance, and his master does not so much as twitch, using a fool's life to measure my depth. A fool who would help count the money after being sold. So I post the description of my positioning star, the goggles that let me enter a survivor's name and pin their location anywhere in the region. 2-day cooldown. After that I cannot speak again, my daily message count spent. I did not post it for fun, but because I cannot keep fighting other people's battles for nothing, and without some leash on these jackals every favor drains away, the way even the richest fortune gets squandered. My positioning star sets Wang Pio's heart trembling, because with a thing like that he could kill anyone he pleased, and a weapon that strong belongs in his hands alone. The instant Lee Sa sees the description, he freezes his island, no longer daring to engage Openg, because losing means death and winning still draws my retaliation. And he fears no man in a shouting match but is not stupid enough to want a heavy hitter painting a target on his back. The trouble is his boss's equipment has already reached him, leaving him squirming on the hook. Then Wang Pio orders him not to be afraid, just kill the target and be done, promising to send his coordinates to meet up after, dangling a promotion to corps member, a seat on the Divine Tomb expedition, and the right to buy supplies at the cheapest rates. Lee Sa takes that like a shot of adrenaline, no longer afraid with his boss behind him, and throws himself straight at Openg. Wang Pio's plan is simple, just as I guessed, to learn what kind of man this regional boss really is. If I turn out terrifyingly strong, he will step forward, announce that Lee Sa is a wild dog who never respected the alliance leader, wash his hands of him, and ask what I plan to do. If I turn out a paper tiger, he will not bother explaining. He will lure me out, because with so many bodies in the alliance, surely they can crush one upstart, and if I am foolish enough to be baited, then the goblin staff returns to its rightful owner too. So my idea of flashing a few high-level soldiers dies on the spot, because an expert who keeps refusing to show his hand is plainly itching to start something. Then I will play along. Openg promised me all of Lee Sa's belongings, and since he has been so sensible, I will keep his losses small. The man takes my 10 level 3 soldier cards and turns resolute in a blink, because it was never that he could not command troops, only that he had no decent troops to command. Lee Sa reports his predicament, and Wang Pio goes silent, which is normal, since even if he had something to send, an attacker loses the right to return to his territory and collect items once the battle begins. The flood of cards I produced caught Wang Pio off guard, since this is the same guy who claimed not long ago he had hardly any, and now he hands them out by the fistful. He knows Lee Sa is dead. He never measured my real strength, and he has burned a wave of troop equipment for nothing. Even with the equipment bonuses, Lee Sa's troops cannot stand against Openg's wall of soldiers. He begs for mercy, but there is no chance Openg lets him walk, since even after every item goes to me, Lee Sa's 20 square meters of land is pure profit, and the only thing Openg says back to him is that if he does not kill him, what will he use to make up the boss's losses? Once Lee Sa is dead, Openg records his belongings on video and ships the whole pile to me. Had he not seen my positioning star first, he might have entertained some sneaky thoughts, but now he does not dare, and can only keep his word to the letter. Gratitude is just noise, so I do not take his thanks too seriously, and I am not shy about the spoils either. Lee Sa's assets push my sail tree up to C grade, 15 kilometers an hour now, producing 5 wood and 1 plank a day, though I learned planks can be synthesized from raw wood if I build a lumber processing station. The gold generating stone climbs to C1, putting out 6 stone and 2 iron blocks daily. The pikeman barracks reaches level 3, and there is even a D-grade canned pork specialty making 500 grams a day, and a D-grade cooking oil specialty making 2,000 milliliters every 2 days. His inventory and the disassembled goods come to 178 wood and 96 stone. The household items a razor, an axe, a pickaxe, and a scatter of odds and ends, and I take every one I do not already own. This haul more than covers what I spent. I return a little food. 1,880 grams of rations, a fair pour of clean water, his cooking oil and canned goods, and the overlapping household items, and the man drowns me in thanks all over again. This wave not only saved his life, it handed him a free 20 square meters of territory, food, and water together past 3,000 grams, and once he factors in the 3 level 3 cards he saved, the thought alone has him buzzing. In the regional channel, Openg thanks the boss for saving his life. Co Ire steps up as the self-appointed commentator, applauding the regional boss and warning that anyone hungry to kill and plunder should weigh the consequences, since the whole channel watched it unfold. Lee Sa insisting on murder, the boss's patience wasted, the peace-loving boss finally provoked, and the fool successfully bringing about his own ruin. The hangers-on pile in the instant the door opens. Song Yusin copies Co Ire's words verbatim and spams them to bury the chat, because even though Lee Sa deserved death and I was not the one who landed the blow, my reputation has to be built on the side of justice. Ga Kai Yon copies and pastes too, since she lives on reputation. Gina copies and pastes, because befriending a heavy hitter is simple math, and who can swear they will never need me? Countless others think the same, too many of them having drunk my water, and free gifts cost nothing, so of course they join the chorus. For a while the praise will not stop, while Co Ire stares at the wall of messages he started, smug as a man who lit the fire. A friend prompt chimes, telling me Co Ire has sent a trade request and confirmed it with a note that he does not care about these things but thanks me anyway. He howls that the heavy hitter came in person to comfort him, that he claims not to care but his hands are awfully honest, and lunges to see his reward. 2 level 3 soldier cards. Level 2 cards sell out the instant they appear, and he scored 2 level 3s just for running his mouth, so he yells himself hoarse, not knowing those were the last level 3 cards I had. I ignore his thanks, busy counting what is left. I still hold 4 level 4 Minotaur guard cards, and 2 level 4 armored goblin cards, and aside from what my own people need, I am not handing out level 4 cards yet. Between Lee Saw's gift, my own card sales, and the steady water income, I have finally scraped together enough for a small stone house. A prompt tells me I have spent 200 wood and 200 stone upgrading the sturdy wooden house to a small stone house and unlocked its associated facilities. If the thing had not upgraded, I never would have guessed there were facilities hiding inside it. The small stone house occupies 30 square meters, weathers hail and heat and brutal cold to cut the odds of sickness, carries 20 points of anti-air capability and 300 building health. The interior space is doubled, the weather resistance is up, the defense is stronger, not bad at all. Its building trait clears 30 square meters of war fog around the island, plus territory prosperity rises by 50. And as the fog peels back another 10 meters, my view outside opens by a whole ring and goes suddenly crisp, the wide horizon lifting my mood and settling my nerves. Among the newly unlocked facilities sit a fireplace and a wardrobe, and even though they cost extra resources, they are worth it, especially a fireplace, non-negotiable against the cold. Upgrading to an intermediate stone house would run 400 materials and add another 10 meters of vision, which drives home how priceless extreme vision is, because my current sight reaches 39 meters, and one more victory will match it to an intermediate stone house outright. Wide vision on a floating island is a lifeline, plain and simple. By afternoon, I set the large white poplar into the corner reserved for the mixed tree forest, making it one more member of the grove. The troop's stamina has recovered. No monsters are knocking, so during the rare lull I haul the wash basin outside and start drawing water to stockpile, planning to let it sunbathe a full day tomorrow, so I have free hot water for a bath. While I work, Gok Hayon sends a trade carrying a specialty upgrade card, a special building blueprint, and 10 iron blocks, which tells me plainly her first battle is already won. She says I should use these, they would be wasted on her, and the rest is just supplies she is keeping. The specialty upgrade card is priceless, since outside the first monster kill no one even knows how to obtain one yet, and she has no use for the iron right now. The blueprint is a special item, so naturally it is nowhere on the system's building page. The twin tower blueprint is ultra rare, letting me convert a defense tower into a twin tower for double the resources. Its description teasing anyone who wants the joy of a double striking tower to build a few and try its power. If one tower deals double damage paired with Gok Hayon's defense master profession, who could ever set foot on my island? The utility makes me feel untouchably safe, and the blueprint hits me where I live. This noob who swore to be a turtle lord grinning so wide my back molars show. A man on the receiving end of a gift this heavy cannot be a hypocrite, and I already owe her more than I can name, so I will pay her back slowly. I reply that I am sending her my coordinates and the little girl's, and she should move toward whichever is closer so we meet up fast. She agrees, and after a quick exchange I trade her the 4 level 4 Minotaur guard cards so she meets no danger before we link up. She is plainly startled the trash-talking jerk is this strong, but she takes them gladly since she is about to meet me anyway, so why not uncover the surprises herself? Another follower is set to join my territory, and it is only right to tell the little girl since I do not want it to look like I tricked her. Everyone is barely scraping by, and if she does not want to huddle together for warmth, I can only let it go, and I could even hand the positioning star back to her, though her specialty card cannot be returned, so at worst I cover her food forever, which is enough to square it. Son Yusin reads my message and replies that if she is not the first person I bring onto my floating island, she is not coming at all. I tell her, fine, I already promised. I will absolutely do it. She does not write back, genuinely sour that this other woman surfaced at the worst possible moment, before she had me locked down. That this woman can board my island so easily means they are clearly old acquaintances, so if she is not careful she could miss the first bite, and she has to reach my island first and nail down this blockhead, before anyone else does. Watching the survivors in the regional channel, she realizes in her bones that the world is truly different now, that without a guarantee of safety people really die no different from a cat or a dog dropping dead. A defense master, she mutters. Of course she cannot do without him, then stares blankly at the sky gripped by an unease she has never felt this sharply. The little girl, usually a chatterbox, goes quiet all at once, and I can tell she is uncomfortable. Being the first onto the island means nothing to me, yet she clings to it so stubbornly that it is plainly the last scrap of her pride, and refusing her now would be cruelty. so I agree without a fuss. I had meant to lecture her on how vital a defense master is, but right then the system warns me an enemy island is approaching and cuts me off. I do not realize the little girl understands every bit as well as I do. The system tells me an island of unknown intent is racing in from the northeast, 25 meters out, and to prepare for battle. With my wider vision, the warnings read differently than before. And now, weighing the sail tree's speed and the floating island core's power, I genuinely have the option to run from a strong enemy. It is a huge island, and before I decide whether to fight or flee, I throw my eye of oversight across it, and as expected it is another goblin island, a full 50 square meters. Still dirt poor, only 2 trees and 1 mouth-watering watermelon specialty. Seeing the strength on it, I lean toward retreat, because clearly that watermelon will not come cheap. 14 high-level monsters, 1 level 5 mage, 2 level 4 heavy armor shield soldiers, 4 level 4 armored goblins, and the rest all level 3, and at the head of them a goblin draped in a red robe, the dress alone marking it as an intelligent being with a mind of its own. My oversight reads it clean. A level 5 Goblin Vanguard Mage General. Commander level, Health 100, Attack 8, Defense 3, Magic Attack 25, Magic Defense 5. Its trait that it is cowardly and terrified of death, always lurking behind its soldiers to snipe. Its description naming it a rare wise man of the Goblin race, a mage who after promotion to General never moves without his tribe shielding him. Its skill of Fireball Barrage, with one note that stops my heart, that a commander level rank lends half its own attributes and its strategic treasure attributes to every troop it leads. A commander that buffs the whole army. Buffed like that, even level 3 soldiers would not read weaker than level 4s, which means the level 4s would stand toe-to-toe with my level 5s. No wonder my hands go cold, because a lineup like this kills anyone it meets except me. It is not that I cannot fight it, only that I cannot take it without losses, and my perfect battle achievement sits 1 win from its reward, so how could I fall here? But opponents like this are rare, and even a noob knows a boss is stuffed with treasure. So how could a super expert like me stomach a retreat? More to the point, that island is led by an intelligent being, which means occupying it hands me both equipment and territory, the truly thrilling part. If only my cards were not all blown on showing off. Then again, good my eye, could those low-tier cards even scratch the monster's defense? Grinding off a few drops of blood at a time, useless. My brain runs at full speed, and the more frantic I feel, the colder my thinking turns. To win this cleanly, the only path is to bury them under cards, and low-level cards are worthless, so I have to mint my own from the level 5 armored Minotaur warrior. I am not short on rations, water, or wood, but where do I get the stone? The answer arrives fast. I have no stone, but I can gather it from others, because after carrying my brothers this long, at the critical hour my brothers had better stand by me. Nothing to hesitate over. Keeping my island at a safe distance from the monsters, I messaged Song Yusin to screenshot my next lines and dump them into the regional channel, that I need them right away, and she agrees over and over. So I announced that I urgently need stone for an emergency. A special offer of 5 stone for 1 level 2 soldier card, 10 stone for 1 level 3, only valid until tomorrow. Every transaction logged, adding that Song Yusin is my sweetheart and my regional channel is restricted, so anyone wanting cheap soldiers should hurry. That line about my sweetheart leaves Song Yusin glowing, the closeness of our bond self-evident now. The Lord's token cannot be forged, and even if trolls try to stir trouble, my character is on display for the whole region, and plenty of people trust me. Besides, summoning a single level 2 soldier costs at least 5 wood, 5 stone, 500 grams of rations and fresh water, and after 1 battle how many soldiers survive. So cards that plug the gaps on demand are precious. The big boss said 1 day only, miss this wave and where will the deal ever appear again? Within a short while Song Yusin has sent me 300 stone, and on top of my own 40 I am nearly level with my wood. Before the little girl can even finish fretting, I cut her off and tell her to stop collecting, that any more and she will bankrupt me. Then I get to work. First I spend 60 stone, 60 wood, and 1500 grams each of rations and fresh water to summon 3 rare level 5 soldiers. Then turn the full quota of summoned soldiers straight into cards. After that I spend 220 stone, and 220 wood and 5500 grams each of rations and fresh water, converting the 1500 grams of rations I am short directly out of food. I stop there, satisfied, and steer my island to meet the monsters. You want to crush me with numbers, let us see who crushes whom. The 2 islands lock together, and the goblins pour into the defense tower's range, -7 flickering above them, and I give the order to attack. The 2 pets at my feet have their leash, that if the red-robed mage does not attack they cannot move, sold as a strategy of striking last to seize the initiative, when really I am afraid they will charge off and never come back. But the moment the mage acts, so long as it has no one-shot ultimate, the rest is easy. The noob's troop control is one of a kind. The first wave a total avalanche, my soldiers triggering their skills the instant they meet the goblins out of pure racial hatred. Fearless charges landing -16, -16, heavy blows chaining -32, -32 the combo spent without hesitation, this wave alone gutting nearly a third of the enemy's health. A level 5 rare soldier against a level 4, a measly 8 points of damage. What is going on here? The counterattack comes. Even with my 5-point defense bonus, the Minotaur's built-in 8 defense, and a few of them carrying +2 defense shields, ugly numbers bloom over their heads. -6, -8. I run the math, and the monster's attack is at least 23, and its defense at least 6 or 7 above mine. Level 4 card soldiers hitting my level 5s this hard. You are poor and stuffed with treasure both, and there is no way this works without equipment bonuses. Before my surprise can settle, the Goblin Mage General moves, pausing, sweeping his robe, the hand hidden in his sleeve clutching a magic book, and without a word of chanting, 2 great fireball spells erupt into the Minotaur warrior charging at the very front. -50, -50, then -5, -5, -5. A fireball combo with searing burn on top nearly makes me wet myself. This thing all but one-shotting a card soldier with 130 health in a single breath. And terrified, I order that Minotaur to retreat. I led with my own card soldiers to soak a wave of damage, then released the held cards to finish the monsters off. So I throw out the 11 cards in my hand, and after an identical charge and heavy strike it is their turn to eat the punishment. Because even if they all die, so long as they buy enough time for my own soldiers' skills to cool, the job is done. Once it is cast, the Mage General turns as sneaky as a noob, drifting behind his own troops with no intention of advancing, while Rang Rang and Lord Chicken loiter beside him waiting on my command. I do not dare give that thing another opening, since the instant it stops moving is the prelude to a spell, so the 2 pets will move in to interrupt the cast. Except its cooldown runs faster than theirs, and when it stops again Rang Rang's skill is not finished cooling. So I, who have watched it the whole time, finally act, slipping out an Ice Cone spell card straight at the Mage General, -36, the freeze triggering and turning it to an ice sculpture. Turns out the crafty goblin is not half as crafty as the noob. With the ice cone landing, I finally breathe out. By now, my card soldiers are dropping into specks of light. 6 dead, nearly half. The survivors all half dead, and this is with my own cards soaking the first wave, so leading with the held cards instead might have wiped them clean, leaving no chance for a second round of skills. I am pleased with my own scheme, even if I do not realize that 21 level 5 card soldiers, plus 2 pets plus an ice cone, all against 14 monsters averaging below level 4 even with a boss at the head. Taking losses like this proves me a noob beyond argument. Once my soldiers shake off their weakened state, with the Mage General no longer a threat, I order them to charge the frozen mage, and one Minotaur after another barrels down until it falls, and with its death the buff feeding the whole army vanishes, the monsters reverting to ordinary small fry. Level 3 card soldiers hitting my level 5 scrape off a token -1, -2, and the heavy armor goblins, thick as they are, cannot survive the rout and topple one after the next, this wave killing 3 more goblin tribesmen and deepening the feud. The system tells me I have wiped out goblin forces 10 times running, that the goblin race now marks me an enemy, and that I have drawn the eyes of goblin powerhouses. 10 times, counting from the moment I seized their tribal treasure and started killing them. Not that I care, my whole skull is filled with what rewards are coming. When I collect 7 level 3 card soldiers and 4 level 4 armored goblin cards, the battle is already over. Then the system tells me I have eliminated the Goblin Mage General's troops and completed the difficult achievement Perfect Battle 10 consecutive victories, 10 out of 10, and received a profession skill book. An actual profession skill book. The achievement seems to have no follow-up, but if there is none, there is none, because the difficulty of that one was simply lethal. It dawns on me then that maybe it is a quest anyone can trigger, and only on completion does its rarity prove itself. Either way, this reward was worth every ounce of effort. The system tells me my ultra-rare territory treasure has finished its first advancement, that I now have the right to turn off the Beacon of the Night function, and that more victories unlock more of its functions. I let out a long breath, because now I can finally sleep soundly. The notifications keep coming, telling me I have completed the first advancement of Extreme Vision and unlocked Mist Concealment. Extreme Vision grants plus 1 meter of sight for each successful defense. Current status 10 meters of War Fog unlocked. Mist Concealment grants plus 1 meter for each successful attack. Current status 1 meter of fog generated at the castle center. And a note that the mist only affects enemies. It really is a good treasure, worth every desperate effort. The function too practical to overstate, because if that mist someday cloaks a wide stretch of my territory, how could any attacker ever read my hand? The system tells me I have obtained the powerful fireball spell Magic Book, the Strategic Equipment Commander's Gloves, 6 shields for card soldiers, and 1 floating island core, and asks whether to destroy or occupy the island. Looking at the haul, I know this is nowhere near everything the boss owned, but I have already pulled in so much good stuff that I'd better be content. In the end, I cannot bear to destroy such a huge island. And beyond the equipment, what I covet most are the island's specialties. Things that cannot be bought anywhere, and if I miss this chance, the odds of stumbling on them again are nothing, so I choose to occupy. The system tells me I have occupied the Goblin Mage General's island, that my territory has grown by 50 square meters to 207 total, that I have obtained a C-grade watermelon specialty and 2 birch trees. Everything complete, my luck finally detonating, because to get rich, killing bosses really is the faster road. Then I look hungrily at the profession skill book the perfect achievement handed me. Card Synthesis, a Card Master exclusive, lets me spend 1 mana point to fuse 2 cards of the same level into 1 card a tier higher. The system has spotted me flying too low and kicked me up again. As expected of a profession exclusive skill, it is practically tailored to me, and the achievement rewards lean toward raw personal strength, so unless truly cornered, I cannot give this up. With that settled, I check the spoils. The powerful Fireball spell magic book is special, non-wearable, producing 2 Fireball spell scrolls a day, each with basic magic damage 30 plus 5 fixed burning damage per second, that ignores magic defense for 4 seconds, 2 of 2 ready, its description bragging that with it even a fool becomes a mage. The C1 Strategic Commander's gloves take effect just sitting in inventory, granting plus 4 troop attack. Finally something decent, and it turns out the equipment was never the problem, only whether the opponent is strong enough to carry something worth having. I distribute all the plus 2 defense troop equipment and slap the leftover piece onto myself, though I still have no idea how to strengthen my pet, which nags at me. I do not fuse the floating island core, best kept in reserve until I have stock to spare. I set the 2 birch trees beside the large poplars, and with 9 of 10 tree species the mixed tree forest shows nothing, so I wait for the apple tree to sprout before seeing what the grove does. Then comes the last thing I've been waiting on, the watermelon specialty, because in circumstances like these, anything edible is worth craving. To get you, I even gave up boss equipment. I mutter and cast investigation on the seedling. A C-grade large watermelon seedling, producing 1 10-kilogram watermelon every 2 days. Cultivable, sweet, juicy, cooling, thirst-quenching with excellent heat resistance. Current output, 1 of 1, its description begging me not to forget to water it. A lot of water. Plus, 20 prosperity. The effect is shockingly good. Water, a lot of water. I am so poor that water is the one thing I have. The new world tips into extreme weather in a few days, so landing this now is perfect timing, because the system already explained that every extra day you endure under extreme weather earns more resistance, even attribute points, which matters enormously. This battle finished an achievement, upgraded a treasure, and stretched my territory on the side. Equipment, items, specialties, skills, each with its own gain. The windfall too wonderful for words. Maybe because I keep the lights off, no monsters trouble me the rest of the time. A few handfuls of rice settle dinner for Lord Chicken and his wife, and by my count the little girl's takeout should land soon. The extreme weather has not arrived and the current sky does no harm to black soil, so I move it outside, where the Chinese cabbage and chili peppers have already sprouted while the apple seeds sit unmoved. The strawberry seedling's still thriving. I pick 2 strawberries to taste, sweet and sour and delicious, and the 2 girls will surely like them more. The watermelon is harvested too, but I leave it untouched, saving the fruit for when we all meet so I can treat them with it. In my stone house now there is only a bed and the crystal platform beside it, the empty room desolate. While I wait on the food, I check what a fireplace and wardrobe demand. The ordinary primary wardrobe is a no-bonus household item, taking 3 square meters of indoor space and 50 wood for storing clothes and odds and ends. The ordinary primary fireplace is also no bonus, taking 2 square meters and 50 stone and 10 iron, heating and boiling water while burning 1 wood every 2 hours. I cannot build them yet, the material costs simply outrageous. Household items carry no combat value, but survivors lean on them to live, and a few skilled artisans can knock together similar pieces with fewer materials. Though lacking tools, how many decent things can they make in a day without eating or sleeping? If even a fireplace is out of reach, are people supposed to fend off the cold with body heat alone? Forced out of the novice village to face stronger monsters before they ever collect their novice rewards? These are only my guesses, and even if I am right, I cannot change a thing, and maybe the world beyond this region fares better. No one can say. Evening again. After Rang Rang and I eat the takeout Song Yusin made, I carry a portion to Gok Haiyan, and only then do I notice she left me a message too, missed while I was buried in the fight. Turns out her location sits very close to Song Yusin's, and she is already nearing the little girl's island, which suits me fine, since I can scoop them both onto my island at once. The night runs deep, the starless sky leaving everyone more frayed. A cold wind cuts through and I shiver and duck back inside, holding the door and calling Rang Rang and Lord Chicken and his wife to come in and stay, because they understand human speech and have fought at my side, so I count them companions now, and a companion is not left to suffer. I make nests for them out of 2 of my own clothes, then reach out to Ligon saying, "That old man." By necessity, since I am down to 15 wood and 14 stone, and 2 pet nests want 200 units each of stone and wood, which I cannot afford. So since the old man has the craft, I will have him make a dog kennel and a chicken coop. And since he needs water, my spare D-grade mineral water covers payment, plus 2 fish so he has the strength to start fast. I send the message and get nothing back. And maybe older folk turn in early. With the lights off tonight, I should sleep well and recover my noble body. Though on a night this cold, would the two houseless girls catch a chill? Under normal conditions, I can reach them by tomorrow night, the morning after at the latest. The little girl has wood to cook and my quilt for warmth, and as for Ga Kayon, she does have a quilt, but whether she would actually burn wood to stay warm is anyone's guess, and I bet she would not. So I trade her 10 wood, leaving me 5, telling her I have more wood than I know what to do with, and these are to keep her warm tonight. Thinking of Ga Kayon reminds me of the specialty card and blueprint she gave me, but the Twin Tower cannot be built for now and will have to wait, and there is no reason to hold on to the specialty card any longer. I am self-sufficient in food and water now, yet the choice of which specialty to upgrade gives me pause. Upgrading the fish-producing water tank has an obvious result, because even doubled fish output would not touch my water income. It is no exaggeration to call this water well my lifeline. What truly grips me is what happens if my nearly bottomless water resource upgrades again. Whether quantity tips over into quality, and though it is more gamble than certainty, given how the system works, the possibility is real. I will gamble, since a C-grade specialty has no business losing to a D-grade one, and with that net under me, I will not sleep tonight unless I try. The system tells me I have used a specialty card on the D-grade water well and upgraded it to C1, plus 60 prosperity. Water quality has improved a tier, its description asking if I want a drink, promising infinite supply, swearing that even with all my stamina I could never drain it, noting that it accelerates the growth and ripening of plants and plant-type specialties. And a feature, essence extraction, letting me draw water essence from the endless pure water, currently 500 grams of low-tier physique water essence a day. Extractable 500 of 500. The full upgrade keeps stacking surprises on me, and I boast that I called 3/10 of the system's tricks in advance. Shameless, as if the man who was just gambling were someone else. The extraction runs from the Lord's token, collected from the crystal platform once a container is ready, and drinking 500 grams raises physique by 0.2, which is 2 health points. Small as it is, a steady stream is the most comfortable kind, and since it helps my dragon body, I cannot pass it up. So after a long string of gulps, looking at the 32 health points on my interface, I belch. Comfortable, ready to sleep at last. New World, Day 4, 7:32 in the morning. Daytime, high 32 degrees, cloudy with scattered thunderstorms. Nighttime, low 6 degrees, mind the cold, air quality good. Followed by the system's standing warning that extreme weather is approaching. This extreme weather comes faster and faster, and a night that cold must be brutal on those two women, so I should fire up the floating island core and rush them here. Further down, a new prompt updates. The Lord's log tells me the 3-day protection period has ended, that from now on, every 7 days this region will merge with another, currently 1 day until the merge. Simple content, but the shock lingers, because the more people in the region, the easier it is for me to trade for supplies, which is good news. What worries me most is how many we lost yesterday, and the region channel shows 912 people. In a single day, 21 more dead. The region channel comes alive over it. Someone who cannot understand calls them idiots, saying people are about to die and they will not even ask the heavy hitter for help in the channel. Another agrees, asking whether that scrap of family fortune is worth more than a life. Someone wonders whether they simply could not afford to ask. CO Ire cuts in that everyone can see the channel, that being unable to afford the price and refusing to ask for help are two different things. Someone retorts that since the heavy hitters are doing so well, can they not, as fellow survivors, simply help everyone out? Then Wang Meng asks whether the man above is naive or just clowning, demanding to know why a heavy hitter should help for free, whether his resources fell out of the sky, whether he should spend things he risked his life for to save a stranger, asking if the man is the hitter's son, or simply not awake yet. Wang Meng is one of the few formidable figures in the region, often flaunting his strength and his stash, though his temper runs hot, and his barrage of rhetorical questions leaves nobody brave enough to answer. Rough words, but not rough reasoning. Then Shim Wai, who rarely speaks, weighs in that the dead may have run out of speaking chances, or died of sickness, or thrown themselves off their islands in despair driven by the lonely night, since there are many roads to death, and he advises everyone not to burn through their chances. Most nod along, because Shim Wai seldom talks but always lands something convincing, and quite a few trust him. Slowly the topic fades, because people forget the deaths of strangers, which is human nature, since when you are barely surviving day to day, how could you spare a thought for anyone else? Instead, the region merge fills the channel, though the survivors clearly took Shimwai's advice and speak sparingly, hoarding at least 2 speaking chances in case danger strikes, and they need the heavy hitter, with O Peng's case as proof. They plainly treat me as their last straw. Gina is thinking along the same lines, except her situation is different, so she only wants an even exchange, not a rescue. The monster island behind her moves at her exact speed, and leaning on her defense tower and cards, she could fight it, but with 3 level 4 monsters at its head, no win comes without paying a price. She has scraped together 4 level 3 cards, her last lifeline, and will not spend them before they have warmed her hands. Yet level 4 monsters are too rare to walk away from, so if she can squeeze something from the heavy hitter to cut her losses, that would be perfect. Her message rings in my friend channel a second time, and since hers was the first alliance formed in this region, I remember her well. She has wide information channels, as Song Yusin told me, though even without that I would have known, since her first warning reaching me ahead of Wang Pyo was proof enough. This time she sends a photo of a monster island with a note, asking whether the heavy hitter is interested in a rare level 4 monster. Then if I handle those 3 level 4 monsters I get first pick of equipment and supplies, or if I help her kill them. She trades me a piece of information instead. Level 4 monsters might be rare to others, but rare to me when I kill a few a day. Still, judging by her confident tone, information she values at the price of a level 4 monster must be important, so I will hear it out, because I know I am short on information and could easily be missing something vital. I tell her to give me the information first. Gina answers at once, asking whether I know how to upgrade barracks. She understood that every card I sold was a monster unit, so she guessed I might not know, which is why she tested the waters. Could this woman actually know how to upgrade barracks? My shock is hard to measure, and information like that is absolutely worth paying for. I tell her I will trade for it, that I've already sent what she wanted, and that once we clear this wave she tells me every detail. Gina cheers, races to the crystal platform, and without hesitation pulls out the troop cards I traded her. The monsters on them identical to the ones chasing her, and even sensing she may have struck gold, she does not dare get careless. 1, 2, 3, only 3 troop cards. Only after running the probe skill on them does she relax, then break into delight. A level 4 armored goblin card, one-time item, no leadership cost, health 55, attack 10, defense and the rest trailing off, and she crows that she and her sisters will conquer this wave for certain. To produce 3 level 4 cards on the spot stuns her, and just how powerful is this bid shot, simply awesome. She tells me she is generous, that she will handle this wave and then talk in detail. The Godfall Island chain, also called Godfall Cemetery, is a map shaped like an inverted V, its islands never moving, the smallest over 50 square meters, every monster on them an undead creature whose name begins with Gravekeeper, and the strange thing is they can only be destroyed, never occupied. Because of the word God, Wang Pyo's fixation makes sense, and he even nicknamed it God's Tomb. The deeper you go, the larger the islands and the stronger the monsters, and vision carries so far there because the chain has no fog of war at all. The Alliance can only probe the outermost edges and never reach the deepest reaches, what lies inside anyone's guess. The most dangerous part is that if 3 or more lords strike a single island at once, the adjacent stationary islands rapidly merge, which sank Wang Pyo's heart because the large interior islands would be murder to handle. The mouth of the V is held by core members, the outermost small islands with level 1 and 2 monsters already cleared, and small as they are, they still carry some resources. Compared to survivors who might not meet a monster island for half a day, the Alliance has a real edge, and best of all, these islands never pursue beyond the map, which gives the defeated a chance to abandon their troops and retreat, though a fleeing lord leaves not a single troop behind, and once every troop dies he loses even the right to retreat, and can only fight to the death. From the level 3 islands decent weapons finally appear, and 2 lucky members even pull special upgrade cards, and a level 3 skeleton barracks. Seeing others' rich gains, the rest burn with envy, and it turns out level 3 troops are not as hard as feared, so since they cannot team up they wage a war of attrition. One man beaten, the next striking instantly, islands toppling one after another. Once every level 3 island is gone and larger ones loom ahead, they settle down knowing it is time for their leader to scout, and Wang Pyo, savoring his subordinates' respect, goes first to take the risk. The level 4 islands are no longer empty, all carrying something good, specialties or special buildings, so destroying or occupying them is sure profit, but the prizes being richer, the level 4 monsters run more than a single tier above level 3s. Among the 40+ core members only Wang Pyo can manage them, so progress crawls. His troop loss is heavy, which is where the enriched member support shows. Because without it, where would he find resources to recruit? And without recruiting, how would he uncover the hidden secret of upgrading barracks? With this steady recruitment, his own finally reached level 3, and he passes the secret to his 2 vice leaders, never knowing it reached Gina the same instant. With level 3 troops given his control and equipment, he faces no pressure against level 4 islands. Wave after wave of wins, swelling his strength. The food and daily goods he drops benefit the core members too. Basic stamina potions, mana potions, strategic skeleton remnants with +2 attack, longbows and battle axes, and watching their leaders display the members go wild. These can be exchanged for alliance contribution, but how long would that take? And nothing feels as good as taking them yourself. So even though Wang Pyo warns they cannot beat the level 4 islands, with no risk to life, trying their luck becomes everyone's shared desire, the requests to fight never stopping. 4 level 4 islands still block the road, and behind them the outlines of 2 nearly 300 square meter islands already show. By yesterday afternoon, the relentless battles have left Wang Pyo wrung out body and mind, his subordinates competent in backing him hard, so it's only fair to hand them a chance while he rests rather than acting himself. But he does not forget to order that, to keep the level 4 islands from merging, at most 2 people may strike each island, and uneasy even then, He has his vice leader Jiang Riang keep watch. Then he tells Jiang Riang that the woman who contacted him, the one claiming she had endured enough of her lord's torment and wanted to join, should be handed equipment, and as long as she kills that lord and brings back the barracks, the Alliance covers her food and drink from now on, and to have Dang Wai fetch in a level 2 barracks besides. Wang Pyo's sudden hunger for barracks tells Jiang Riang at once that he is preparing to upgrade to level 4 barracks. Jiang Riang says he understands, and Wang Pyo goes to rest, no one disobeying the leader, the Alliance brimming with confidence after clearing the level 3 islands. When the soldiers are evenly matched, no one believes anyone else is better than himself, so whoever fails is plainly the lesser man. Out of 40 plus members, nearly 30 take action, and by nightfall not one of the 4 islands has fallen, and only then do they believe people truly differ, that the spoils will have to wait for the boss to act in person. They settle down, never realizing this wave after wave of defeat has frozen Wang Pyo's whole campaign through their own doing, because nobody knew the troops they abandoned or lost in battle had, in one night, transformed into skeleton soldiers on the monster islands, and even gained a level, each level 4 island averaging nearly 80 new level 3 skeleton soldiers. When Wang Pyo wakes, his first message asks Jiang Riang whether Dang Wei and the girl succeeded. Jiang Riang says they did, that she is on an ally's island now, that without lord status she can only keep being someone's follower, that the supplies are with him, and that as for Dang Wei, with his ability and special equipment killing a man silently is no surprise, and he will mail the items over now. Wang Pyo looks at the 2 level 2 pikeman barracks his vice leader traded over, and his heart rate climbs, because if nothing goes wrong he can recruit level 4 troops today and push to the level 5 island. He asks whether the level 4 islands are all down, and Jiang Riang says just as the boss called it, they all overestimate themselves, and not a single island fell. Wang Pyo says if he does not let them hit a wall, how will they learn it hurts, that only here at the Divine Tomb did they get a chance to escape, and outside, daring to fight this recklessly, he might actually respect them. Jiang Riang notes a few smart ones never joined in. Wang Pyo says that proves nothing yet, that after he upgrades the barracks the 2 of them can decide who goes to the island with him, and as for the girl, Jiang Riang can keep her for warming a bed. Jiang Riang thanks him and says he will send Dang Wai along instead, and Wang Pyo nods, because Jiang Riang reads advance and retreat well even if he commands troops worse than Dang Wai. Ending that, Wang Pyo activates his advanced scouting skill, the scouting glasses, special equipment with a certain chance to reveal hidden information and attributes of items below high grade. If the earlier barracks upgrade was an accident, with these glasses the accident is no longer an accident. When he merges the 2 level 2 barracks into a level 3, a hidden line invisible to outsiders surfaces in his eyes. A level 3 pikeman barracks with an advancement condition of 1 out of 1,000 resource conscriptions. No matter, by the rule that same type, same level barracks merge to upgrade, he happens to hold 2 level 3 barracks, so one more merge gives him a solid level 4. He thinks it, he does it. The system asks whether he is sure he wants to merge 2 level 3 pikeman barracks. He confirms, a golden light flashes, and he checks his new barracks at once. A C1 level 3 pikeman barracks, recruiting 3 level 3 pikemen daily, able to spend 10 wood, 10 stone, 500 grams of rations and 500 grams of clear water for resource conscription, advancement condition 0 out of 1,000 resource conscriptions. C1 level. His mood gallops like 10,000 horses, and he mutters that he knew it, that the system would never let people exploit a loophole this simple, admitting he oversimplified it. Still, he is confident he can swallow this setback, since once he dismantles the Divine Tomb, he refuses to believe he will not pull out good things. And a level 4 Tomb Keeper island, even without level 4 troops, is no problem for him. The level 5 island after it able to wait, since it is only 1,000 resource troops. So he composes himself and messages his 2 vice leaders that the level 3 troop upgrade failed, that barracks level 4 and above can only be upgraded through resource conscription, with no shortcut, not to spread the news, and that Dang Wai will go to the island with him next to kill monsters. Gina, tallying her spoils, gets a string of beeps in her friend messages, and thinking it is the anxious boss, she finds it as Dang Wai instead, calling her auntie, adding to the secret he gave her before, that merging level 3 and above can only be upgraded by resource conscription. No shortcut, not to spread it. Fewer than 3 people knowing in total. She says he is really something, asks why he does not marry his auntie since everything Xiong Yu has, she has too. Dang Wei tells her to get lost and talk properly, that he is warning her to watch that long-legged Song Yu for him, and let no one touch her. Gina is used to chatting with him like this, similar in age and close even before all this. Their bond only thicker after meeting again. She tells him if you just hand people more benefits, what girl can you not get? So does she really need to babysit Song Yu for him? Look at him. So promising. Dang Wai answers that the problem is he is broke now and cannot even recruit enough troops, so where would he find resources to flirt with girls? She asks what happened, and he says he got screwed, the truly miserable kind, asking whether she has ever seen a 150 square meter territory crammed with 80 or 90 monsters, and that any later, and she would have lost a nephew, then pours out the whole thing, following Wang Pyo to attack the level 4 island. Gina listens with her heart trembling and comforts him that supplies are easy, his auntie can support him. But did Wang Pyo not compensate him?